Hi everyone, Ravi this side. Welcome to Engineering Adda. So this video is a crash course on Query DSL. So those who don't know what is Query DSL, so Query DSL is nothing but it is converting the query in the form of domain specific language. That domain can either be Java or Python or PHP, some others languages you can consider. So in the query DSL, what we do, we'll try to write the query and then convert that query in a form of domain specific language. So here the domain specific language that we are using is Java. And finally, the framework of Java that we are using is Spring Boot. So what we are doing, we are converting these queries in the form of Java Spring Boot APIs. Okay, so this is what we are going to cover in this crash course. And if you don't know about the Elasticsearch, let me try to tell you. The Elasticsearch is nothing but it is a kind of database, or you can say the search engine. And we have a lot of queries in the Elasticsearch, and Elasticsearch facilitates a lot of queries through which we can implement our daily problems. Okay, so that is why I'm using the Elasticsearch here. And if you don't know how to integrate the Elasticsearch with the Spring Boot, there is a video on my channel. You can go and watch it out. Here in this video, we are going to convert lot of Elasticsearch query in the form of Spring Boot APIs. So let me try to go to the next slide and try to show you what all the queries we have covered here. So these are the list of queries that we have covered in this video. So we have the MatchAll query at Elasticsearch level that we have converted in the form of Spring Boot APIs. We have the matchall query at index level, and that we have converted in the form of Spring Boot API. We have match by field query. We have also converted that in the form of Spring Boot API. Again, we have the fuzzy query. We have the ngram query. Using the ngram query, we have developed a auto suggest API in the Spring Boot. Again, in last, we have the Bool query, and we have converted that Bool query in the form of Spring Boot API. So this is what this video contains. If you don't know about the DSL, and if you want to get a thorough understanding how to implement the queries of the Elasticsearch in the form of Spring Boot APIs, then this is the video for you. So just watch this video till the end so that you can get a whole lot of understanding about the Query DSL. So today in this video we are going to discuss about Query DSL. So first of all we'll try to discuss what is Query DSL and how we can implement Query DSL in a Spring Boot Elasticsearch application. So here I have created one Spring Boot application, and the database or a search engine we are using as a Elasticsearch. Okay. So if you are not aware about the integration of Elasticsearch in Spring Boot, then there is a video on my channel. I will provide the link of that video in the description so you can watch it out. So there I have already showed you how you can integrate the Elasticsearch in your Spring Boot application, and I have performed the CRUD operations there. Okay. And there also I have showed couple of Elasticsearch queries. So Elasticsearch is working like a search engine. So there are lot more ranges of the queries are there for the Elasticsearch. So here we are going to implement the query DSL on the matchall query. Okay. So first of all, what is query DSL? So DSL means domain specific language. Okay. So let's say Elasticsearch has one query, and that query we want to implement in the Java or in the Spring Boot application uh, in the form of API. So how we can do that? So using DSL we can do that. Okay. So that is what we are going to do. So here we are going to implement the matchall query of the Elasticsearch. Okay. So before going there, let me try to explain you what application I have developed in the previous video and how I have integrated the Elasticsearch in the Spring Boot application. So let me try to go there. So here you can see this is the application that we have developed in the previous video, or in the video where I have integrated the Elasticsearch in the Spring Boot application. So we have created entities like product, we have the repository, product repository, and we have the product service here. And finally, we have the product controller, which has the APIs. Okay, so here you can see I have developed two APIs, which is find all and the insert. And coming to the application properties file, I have provided the cluster name and the cluster node. So our Elasticsearch is up locally on the port number 9200. Okay. So coming here, I already have made the Elasticsearch up locally. Okay. So this is the terminal for the Elasticsearch. how you have to make your Elasticsearch up locally and how you can install Elasticsearch and configure those things on your Windows machine. I already have discussed in one of my videos. Okay, so there you can watch it out and try to install it. So I have the Elasticsearch up. I have this application ready where we have implemented the CRUD operation using the Elasticsearch as a database or as a search engine. So those things we have already developed. Now in this video, what we are going to do, we are going to discuss about the Query DSL and how to implement the Query DSL, where I am going to use the MatchAll query in this video. Okay, so let's get started for that. So first of all, let me try to brief you about the entities and the repository and then services. And then after that, I will try to go for the implementation of the Query DSL. So here I have created this entity, and this entity has the let's say 5 attributes: ID, name, description, quantity, and the price. And the repository we have extended from the Elasticsearch repository, which has two arguments. One is the entity and second is the ID type of the entity. So entity have the ID and its return type is integer. So that is why we have provided it here. Now coming to the product service, we have created this get products, insert product, update and delete product. And finally, we have in the product controller, we have implemented two APIs, which is finding all the product from the DB or from the Elasticsearch. And second is to insert the product related record in the Elasticsearch. Okay, so these are the things we are doing here. Now let me try to make this application up, and let me try to. So just wait for a few seconds. I will try to hit this find all API and try to show you what all the records we have. Okay. So when this application is up, we have integrated the Elasticsearch here. So you can see uh, there is a logs coming, which is giving us the URL for the Elasticsearch. Okay, so our Elasticsearch is up locally on the port number 9200, and slash product is a index that we have created. So index is similar to the table. Okay, so in the Elasticsearch terms, we try to call the table as an index. So if you'll go to the product entity here, you can see I have created the index and the index name is products. Okay, so that it is coming here. If we click on this link, you can see this is giving you the details of the index that you have created. Okay, now our application is up, and I will just try to hit this find all API so that I can show you what all the products I have inserted in the index products. Okay, now let me try to go to the postman and let me try to hit this find all API. So just right click on it. Sorry, just enter the send button and then you can see these are the contents we have in the products index. So we have 4 records. Okay, so we have the ID1 as a mobile, ID3 as a charger, ID2 as a laptop, and ID12 as a tablet. So these 4 products we have in our index products. Okay, so and these are some additional things coming from the Elasticsearch. So this is about the application that we have developed and how it is integrated with the Elasticsearch. Now let me try to show you something. So if you'll go there, our Elasticsearch is up on the port number 9200, right? And if you'll go to the underscore search and let me try to show you what all things it has. So if you'll click or if you'll try to hit this API, you will find all the records or the indexes that are there in the Elasticsearch. So in my Elasticsearch, I have inserted one more index, and that index is containing the customer information. Okay, so basically I have two indexed. One is products, and second is customer information index. Okay, so let me try to go down, and here you can see the total hit value are 6. So if you'll go down, you can see in the hit I have one index called ABC, and if you'll go down, you can see this class name for this index is customer, and it has one record which is having the ID as 1222 and the first name, last name, and the age of the customer. Similarly, I have the second record which has the ID 222 and the first name, last name, and the age. and then the next index is products. Okay, if you'll go down, you will find all the four products that has inserted in the product index. Okay, you can see those things here. So this is like under this API, you can find all the indexes, all the records that are there in your Elasticsearch. Now, if you will try to uh, run this query, which is a Elasticsearch query on this underscore search API, then you will find all those details here as well. So if you'll click on it, you can see all those six records are coming here with the two different indices. Okay. So if you'll go down, you can find all those things. So this is what I'm going to implement in the Spring Boot application. So without hitting this API, I will try to create one Spring Boot API that will try to hit that API and get all these records. So that thing we are going to do here. And yeah, let me try to go there to the application. Okay. So yeah, we are good. Now what I'm going to do, I'm just going to create one uh, Elasticsearch utility class where I will try to create the query. Okay. And then that query we are going to pass in the Elasticsearch search method, so that when we are passing that query to the Elasticsearch search method, it will go to the Elasticsearch and find out all the document according to that query and then return us. So those things we are going to develop here. Okay. So uh, yeah, so I already have showed you that we are going to implement this query. Okay. So let me try to go there again to the IntelliJ, and here let me try to create one util package. Okay. So just create util, right click on it and just create one Elasticsearch util. Okay. And here we can create the Elasticsearch query. Okay, so how we can create the Elasticsearch query? So there are a couple of like methods we need to create, which will be returning the Elasticsearch query. So here we are going to implement the MatchAll query, right? So we are going to create one method which will be returning the MatchAll query for the Elasticsearch. So how we can do that? So let me try to create the method first. So public static, and let's say the return type for the method is MatchAll query, and let's say the name of the method is MatchAll query. Okay, we are not passing any argument here. Okay, so this is the method that we have created. Now we need to build a MatchAll query. Okay, so how we can do that? So let me try to create one variable and import this from the Lombok, and let's say the variable name is MatchAll query. MatchAll query. Okay, and we have to build a MatchAll query here. So new MatchAll query dot builder. Good. Now we need to return this matchall from here. Okay, so just matchall query dot build. So this method will try to create one matchall, newly matchall query, and we are building it and then returning it simply. Okay. Now what I'm going to do, we cannot like I'm not aware if we can pass this matchall query to the Elasticsearch method or not. But the standard way of doing is we need to call this matchall query in a query supplier. Okay, and that method will be returning a query supplier, and then that query supplier we can pass to the Elasticsearch search method. Okay, so let me try to create one method which is returning the query supplier, and then we have to call this matchall query inside that method. So let me try to do that. Public static, and it is supplier, which is coming from the functional interface of Java 8, and its type would be query, which is coming from the, you can see it is coming from Elasticsearch. So just import the supplier which is coming from the util. Okay, and let's say the method name is supplier. Okay, now what we need to do, we need to supply, like what is the function of supplier? If you are if you are aware that the supplier function is supplying a method or supplying a value automatically, okay, on its own. So that is the purpose of supplier. So that is why we are creating one supplier which is supplying the query to us, and that query we need to pass to the search method of the Elasticsearch. So let me try to do that query, and let's say its name is supplier, and here it is supplying one query to us which is a MatchAll query. So query dot off, and here we can call the MatchAll query. So q dot MatchAll, and in the MatchAll we can pass the method that is returning the MatchAll query. So copy this method, paste it here, and we are good. Now what we need to do, we need to simply return the supplier from this method. So return supplier, okay, so we are good. So let me try to explain you again. So this method is creating a MatchAll query. So if you'll go there to the postman, this is the query that we are running, okay, and this is the query that we are going to implement in the Java Spring Boot application. So this query is returning all the matches from the Elasticsearch, okay. So this query we are going to implement as a query DSL. So if you'll come here, this method is doing the same thing. It is creating a new MatchAll query and building it and returning it. Now this method, the supplier method, it is supplying a query to us, and that query need to be passed to the search method of the Elasticsearch. So this supplier query is doing nothing. It is mainly supplying a query on its own, and that query is a MatchAll query. So we are good now. Now let me try to create a service here. So in the service, you can right click on it and create a Elasticsearch service. So let's say it is Elasticsearch service. Okay. Just you need to annotate this class with the @service so that its bin can be created and assigned to the application context. So we are good now, and now we need to call the search method of the Elasticsearch. So how we can call that? So we need, in order to call that search method, we need to use the Elasticsearch client. Okay, so we need to auto wire that here. So private Elasticsearch client, and its reference you need to pass, or you need to provide here. So we are good. Now let me try to create that method here, uh, which will be calling the search, and in the search we are going to pass the query or the supplier query that we have created. So let me try to do that. Okay, so let's say the method name is public, and its return type should be, as of now we are keeping it as a search response. Okay, search response, and let's say its type is map. So we need to import the map here, and let's say the method name is MatchAll service. MatchAll service. Okay, now what we need to do, with the help of the uh, this reference, okay, we need to call the search method. So just call it search, and in the search we need to provide the supplier query. So let me try to create one reference for the supplier query, okay, and with the help of the method that we have created in the Elasticsearch util, we'll call that supplier query and store it in the reference here. So just supplier query, make sure that this query is coming from the Elasticsearch. Okay, now let me try to import the supplier which is coming from the util function, and let's say its name is supplier. Okay, equal to, what is the method that we have created here? It is supplier method. So copy this and come here to the search service, and using the class name Elasticsearch util, we can call this supplier method, right? So the supplier method is returning a supplier query, and that is what we are storing it here in the reference. Okay, and we need to pass this in the search. Okay, so let me try to do that. So s dot query, and in the query we need to pass the supplier dot get. Okay, so we are getting the query, extracting out from the supplier, and we are putting it in the query. So we are good. Now we need to pass here the class name. So the return type for this search would be search response, and the argument is map, right? So we need to provide the map.class here. Okay, so we are good. And now let me try to store this in a reference which is of search response type. So map search response equal to this. So we are good now. And now what we can do, if you want to see how our query is looking like, then you can print it out here. So let me try to print it for you so that when we are going to hit the API, we can see that query as well. Okay. So it's out, and let's say the Elasticsearch query is something like supplier.get. So the query is in supplier, we are getting it and we are converting that query to the toString, and we are printing it. And what we can do, we can return this response from this method. So just return the search response. So we are good. Now let me try to see why we are getting this error. So we need to throw some exception here. Okay, so either you can do a try catch or throw the exception. So let me try to throw it. So we are good. So let me try to again explain you. So coming to the Elasticsearch util, we have created this MatchAll query method, which is creating a MatchAll query for us. We are wrapping up that query in the supplier, and then here in the Elasticsearch service, we are calling this supplier method from the Elasticsearch util and storing its value in the supplier reference, which is of supplier query. And then we are passing this in the form of query to the Elasticsearch search method, and we are getting the response. And we are logging the query, and then we are returning the response out of here. And now let me try to go to the product controller and try creating one API here. Okay, so let me try to copy this and paste it down. And let's say the API name is MatchAll. Okay, and let's say the method name is MatchAll. And what we need to do, we need to auto-wire the Elasticsearch service in the controller. Okay, how we have auto-wire the product service. So let me try to do that. @autowire private Elasticsearch service. Okay, so we have auto-wired it. Copy this reference and go to the method, paste it here. And what is the method inside the Elasticsearch service? It was MatchAll service. So just call it, and then its return type is search response. So let me try to create the method properly. So it is search response of map type, and we are calling it and returning it. So what is the, okay, so we need to throw this exception from here. So you can do it. Okay, so we are good now. So let me try to hit this endpoint. Okay, so let me try to rerun this application and try hitting the endpoint and show you. So just wait for a few seconds, and yeah, our application is up. Okay, so our application is up on the port number 8080, and the class level mapping for this controller is APIs. And if you are going to hit this git mapping, which is MatchAll, they need to put the additional mapping, which is MatchAll. So let me try to go to the postman, and here I have already created it. So you can see our application is up on the port number 8080, and the class level mapping is APIs, and then we need to put the MatchAll. So just hit enter, and yeah, you can see we are not getting anything. But if you'll go to the Spring Boot application, here in the logs, you can see we are logging the query. So our query is coming, which is the MatchAll query. That means we are able to create the query properly, and we have passed the query to the Elasticsearch service here. Okay, so the query is good. Now why we are not getting the response? Okay, so let me try to go to the product controller. Here you can see our return type is map search response. Okay, so the search response is containing all the data, all the hits data from the Elasticsearch, right? But it is not coming in the response. So what we can do, we can convert this to the string and try to return it from here. Okay, so let me try to do it. So let's say we are storing this in a search response of map type, and let's say its reference is search response. And now let me try to log it here for the search response, and let's say it's hits and then to string. So whatever things are coming in the search response, we are going for the hits and then converting that to the toString, and we are printing it out. Okay, and as of now, let me try to return only the search response from here and then try to see what it is printing. Okay, so let me try to rerun this application, and yeah. Okay, so our application is up. Now let me go to the Postman and try hitting this API. So go to the IntelliJ, and here you can see we are able to get the hits. Okay, and in the hit what we have, let me try to copy you and then show you. So let me try to open the notepad here. Okay, so this is the response that we are getting. Okay, so if you will observe it, then you can see we have the index ABC two times, and its record is also there, right? If you'll go there in the source, you can see the uh, records related to the particular index. Okay, so if you're going for the index ABC, you can see in the source this details related to the customer information is there, and we have the two records for the index ABC, and those two you can see here. You can see this first one, and this is the second one, right? Similarly, if you'll go for the index products, let me try to show you. If you'll go for the index product, here is the source, and in the source you can see all those four records for the product. This is one, this is second. Similarly, if you'll search for the third one, and this is the fourth one, right? So we have all the records coming in this MatchAll Query DSL, right? Now let me try to go to the IntelliJ, and yeah, so these things are coming properly. So earlier what I have showed you, I have showed you that we are going to perform the MatchAll query in the Spring Boot, like we are going to convert this MatchAll query, which is coming from the Elasticsearch, in the Java Spring Boot APIs. So that we did, and its response is coming as expected. So you can see this is the API which is coming from the Elasticsearch. If we'll run this MatchAll query, we are getting these results here. Okay. If you'll compare the hits from this Elasticsearch query, it is same as the hits that we are getting from the API or the Spring Boot API that we have created. You can see these two indexes are coming and its records are coming. So it is coming properly. Now let me try to what you can do. You can return the string from this method, and you can simply return this response search response dot hits dot toString. Okay, And now let me try to run the application again. So this time you will get the response in the form of a string, and those things is coming as a response here. So let me try to, yeah, our application is up. Go to the Postman, and this is the MatchAll API. Okay, now just hit enter, and this time you can see the response is coming as a string. So this is how you can implement the query DSL in the Spring Boot API's form. Okay, so what we were having the MatchAll query, and we were running those MatchAll query in the Elasticsearch. We are getting the results, and those results we can get from the APIs that we have developed in the Spring Boot application. That means we have converted this Elasticsearch query in the domain specific language. That means Java or the Spring Boot. So this is about the query DSL. Okay. Now let's say this is like this query DSL, this MatchAll query is performing the operation on whole Elasticsearch. So we are getting these two indexes and its records. What if you want to uh, get only the records from the products, okay, from the products index or from the index ABC? So how you can implement it? That thing also I will cover in the separate video. And if you want, let me try to go to the IntelliJ, and here we are just simply getting the response, and we are taking out the hits, and then we are converting it in the to string. But here you can separately create a DTO, and you can carve out the response from the search response and map this to the DTO. Okay, so let's say you want to carve out the response from the product index. Okay, so you can create a DTO related to the product, and then you can map those result which is coming in the search response to the DTO that you have created for the product. So those things you can do yourself. So in the coming video, I'm going to implement the query which is matching out all the products from the product index that we have created. Okay, so those things we are going to do in the coming videos. So let me try to give you a brief what I'm going to develop in the coming videos. So let me try to go there to the search, and sorry, to the find all. And here you can see in the find all API, if you hit this, you can see these are the contents, right? We have the products records from the product index that we have created. So we have four products records inserted in the products index, and we are getting it when we are hitting this API. So same things how we can do in the query DSL, I am going to do for yourself. Okay, so with the help of MatchAll query, we are going to find out all the records for a particular indices that we have created. So that thing I'm going to implement, okay, in the coming videos. So this is about the video. If you like the video, please hit the like button, and please subscribe the channel for more such content. Thanks. Hi everyone, Ravi this side. Welcome to Engineering Adda. So in this video, I am going to show you how you can implement the Query DSL in the Spring Boot Elasticsearch application. So there is a video on my channel where I have showed you how to integrate the Spring Boot with the Elasticsearch, or how to integrate the Elasticsearch in the Spring Boot application. So I have showed you how to like integrate Elasticsearch as a database or as a search engine in a Spring Boot application. I have created couple of CRUD APIs there, and try to insert couple of records in the Elasticsearch index, and try to get all those records from the Elasticsearch index. So those things I have performed there. After that, what I did, I have created one separate video about the query DSL and how to implement the match-all query of the Elasticsearch in the form of Java APIs or Spring Boot APIs. So those things also I have developed and discussed in the another video. I will try to provide the link of those two videos in this video description. Okay, so that you can go and watch it out. So what we are going to do in this video? So in this video, we are going to implement the query MatchAll, which is matching all the products from the product indices that I have created. Okay. So those things we are going to do in this video. So how we can convert this query, Elasticsearch query in the form of Java APIs that I'm going to show you. Okay. So before going there, let me try to show you the application that I have developed in those two videos. So this is the application, and this application has the product entity, and it has ID, name, description, quantity, and the price as a attributes. And coming to the repository, it has the repository which is extending the Elasticsearch repository. We have included the Elasticsearch dependency here, and we have included the web dependency and the Lombok. So those three dependency I have included in this video, in this application. Okay, I already have discussed those things in the video where we have developed this application and interacted this application with the Elasticsearch. So those things I already have covered. Okay, so this is the overview of the application, how it is looking like. So coming to the product service, this is the service method we have created. This is the service class, and these are the service method that we have created. So the first method is getting all the products from the product repository. Second is inserting the product. Third is updating, and fourth is deleting. Now coming to the product controller, we have developed this product controller, and we have couple of APIs here. So first API is finding all the products from the Elasticsearch DB or index. Coming to the post API, it is inserting the products in the Elasticsearch index. Now let me try to show you how we have created the index. So if you'll go to the product entity, you can see this at the red document index name is products. So using this, we have created the product indices in the Elasticsearch. Okay. And these are some configuration related to the Elasticsearch. So we have the product service as a cluster name and our Elasticsearch up locally on the port number 9200. So this is about the application, and this was the brief of the first video where we have integrated the Elasticsearch in a Spring Boot application and developed the CRUD applications, CRUD operations you can say. Now in the second video, what I did, I have created the util, and in the util class, I have created this Elasticsearch queries in the Java methods. Okay, so here you can see we have created this MatchAll query. We are creating the supplier, and we are passing this MatchAll query to this supplier. So this supplier is basically returning the MatchAll query for us. And coming to the Elasticsearch service method, I have created one method which is using the Elasticsearch client, and it is calling the search method of the Elasticsearch, and there we are passing this supplier query, and we are getting out the results. Okay, so this is operating on the whole Elasticsearch. So in my Elasticsearch, I have two indices. One index is containing the customer information, second is containing the product information. And here in this application, we are using the product indices. Okay, so in this video, we are going to develop the this method which is matching all the products from the indices products in the Elasticsearch and returning us the result. So that we are going to do. Okay, now before going there, let me try to give you a brief about the API which is coming from the Elasticsearch. Okay, so our Elasticsearch is up locally on the port number 9200, and if you will go under the underscore search, you will find out all the indices and all the records in your Elasticsearch. So let me try to hit this endpoint, and you can see this. So you can see I have six hits, and if you'll go down in the hit, you have the indices ABC, which is containing the customer information. If you'll go to the source, you can find out these records. So customer ID is 1222, first name, last name, and age. Similarly, I have the second one. ID is 222, you can see, and the first name, last name, and age. And this is about the index one, which is ABC. Now second index I have is products, which is containing the product related information. You can see here I have four product inserted here. Okay, and if you will go to the application, go to the controller. If you can see this find all API, it is returning all the list of products which is inside the product indices. Okay, you can see here, right? So go to the product controller and let me try to make this application up and try to hit this API and show you what all the product I have in the product indices or product index, you can say. So let me try to, yeah, this application is up locally on the port number 8080. Go to the Postman and try to hit this find all API. So just hit enter and wait for a few seconds. You can see we have this contents, and in the content we have four records related to the different products. So we have the product ID 1, which is mobile. Second, the product ID 3 has the name as charger, and product ID 2 is laptop. Product ID 12 is tablet, and these are some additional records or the details coming from the Elasticsearch. So these four product I have, okay, but we are hitting this find all API and we are getting those things. But how we can implement the MatchAll query which is coming from the Elasticsearch to find out all these records? Okay, so basically we are not going to find out from the Elasticsearch using the repository provided methods. If you'll go to this find all API, let me try to go you, and if you'll go to this product service method, which is get products, here you can see we are using this product repository dot find all, and using that we are fetching out the records. But what if I told you that you have to fetch out the record using the match all query? Okay, so how you can do that? So that we are going to implement here. Okay, so let me try to show you the match all query, how it is working. Okay, so if you'll go to the match all, and here you can see this is the Elasticsearch API, and if you will apply the match all on the search, you will find all the records from the Elasticsearch. You can see this. It is coming from the index EBC as well as from the product as well. But we want only the records coming from the index products. Okay. Similarly, how it is coming from the find all API. So let me try to show you. So if you hit this API, you can see we are getting only the product related details. Okay. So this is what we are going to implement. But this find all is trying to achieve it using the repository provided method, which is find all. But we are going to achieve the same thing using the Elasticsearch query, which is match all query, and we are going to define that query in the Java methods or APIs. So we are converting that query to the DSL, domain specific language. In our case, our language is Java. So that thing we are going to do. So let me try to, here you can see I already have created this Elasticsearch service method. So here again I'm going to create one method, and that method will be we have to pass the query how we have passed here, and we have to tweak something here. Okay, so we, the help of this query, we have to pass the index as well. So for the particular index, it will apply the match all. So that thing we are going to do, and then we'll try to create one API, and we'll try to hit that API and show the results. So let me try to copy this method from the service, paste it here, and let's say this is MatchAll's product service. Okay, and its return type, let's say it is returning only the uh, search response as a products. Okay, so not as a map. So products or product, our entity name. Let me try to import this here. And this is the query that we are getting from the Elasticsearch util. Let me try to explain you the query. So here you can see this method. It is returning a MatchAll query. And how we are creating the MatchAll query? We are using this new MatchAll query.builder, and we are assigning this to the variable, and then we are building it and returning it. So it is simply creating a MatchAll query for us. And this method is returning a supplier of the query type. So we are providing this MatchAll query here in the supplier, and this is like what is the function of supplier? Supplier is supplying a value automatically on its own. So this supplier reference is trying to supply the MatchAll query for us, and then we are returning it from this method. So that thing we are doing, and then we are calling this supplier method here in the Elasticsearch search method. Okay, and then we are getting the results. So similarly, we are also calling the MatchAll method here, MatchAll query here, but we have to pass the index as well. So how we can do that? So let me try to show you. So its return type should be search response of the product, and with the like we are passing the query, which is a MatchAll query, and we need to pass the product as index as well. So how we can do that? So if you'll go there to the before query, you need to pass the index. So you can pass the index, and then you need to pass the query. So in the index, you can directly provide the particular index from which you want to get the results. So this time we are going to get the result from the products. Okay. So our index name is products. If you'll go to the product entity, you can find here the index name. So copy this from here, go to the Elasticsearch service and put it here as the index. Okay. And we need to change the uh, class name, so it would be products, because its return type is not map, it is product. Okay, so we are good now. So this method is working good. Now go to the product controller and try to copy this get mapping, paste down, and let's say this is match all products, and the method name is also match all products, and its return type should be what should be the return type? Its return type should be the list of products, right? It is returning the list of product. So let me try to do that. So how we can do that? So this is the method name matchall products, and we need to return the list of product from here. Okay, so let me try to do the list of product, and let me try to import the list here, which is coming from the util. So, and let me try to change the method name. It is matchall products service. So this is returning the search response of the product type, not of the map type. So you need to change it. And now we have the search response and its hits, which we are converting to the toString, and we are printing it. Okay. Now let me try to contain these hits uh, in a reference. Okay. So let me try to do that. So its return type would be the list of hits of product. Okay, lists of hit of product, and let me try to import the hit here, which is coming from the Elasticsearch, and let's say its name is list of hits. Okay, so we have the list of hits. Now what we can do, we can convert this, or we can take out the hit of the product one by one from this list. Okay, and put it in a list of products. Okay, so that we can do. So let me try to do that. So first of all, let me try to create a list of product, and let's say its name is list product equal to new array list, and then we have to iterate through the list of hits, and we have to catch each list in this list of products. So for what would be the type? It is of hit products, and let's say list of it, or you can say hit and list of it, and you can add this hit one by one to the list of products. So copy this, add this hit to this list of products. Okay, and we need not to like, this is returning the hit of product. Okay, it is not returning the product. And the list of product is the list of products, not the list of hits of product. So uh, we need to extract out the list of products from the hit. So each hit is having the hit of products, and we have to extract out the product out of it. So how you can do that? So we can get this product in the source. Okay, so let me try to use source here, and so hit dot source is giving the product entity details. Okay, and then we are adding that to the list of products. Okay, and finally what we can do, we can return the list of products from here. Okay, so list of products, that's it. Now let me try to run this application and try hitting the API and try to show you. So copy this API and go to the Postman, and let's say, let me try to, our application is up locally on the port number 8080, and the class level mapping was API slash this is the API that we have created. So let me try to confirm it. So you can see the class level mapping is APIs, and our application is up on the port number 8080 locally, and the API that we have created is MatchAll products. So finally URL will be http localhost 8080 APIs MatchAll products. Now if you'll hit it, then you will get the desired result. Okay, so this time we are getting the internal server error. Let me try to cross verify why we are getting it. Okay, so here we are getting the exception, which is unrecognized property exception. So in, okay, so we are getting this underscore class as a field. Okay, okay, okay. So let me try to show you something. So this matchall API is returning the search response, and we are also logging it here. So let me try to show you something. Okay, and then I will try to show you why we are getting this error. So this time we are going to hit this matchall API. Okay, so just hit, and you can see this. This is the response that we are getting. So if you'll go to the source, we have this class as one attribute, and its class name. We have the ID, we have the first name, we have the last name, and we have the age. This is about the index ABC. If you'll go to the index products, let me try to show you one product index. And if you'll go to the source of this product, you can see this uh, underscore class is one attribute here. Okay, and then we have the ID, we have the name, we have the description, we have the quantity, and we have the price. So here in the product entity, we have only 5 attributes: ID, name, description, quantity, and the price. But when we are hitting this, then in the Elasticsearch, we are getting the 6 attributes in the uh, record, which is the additional one is underscore class. So that is why it is not able to match it. Okay, and that is why we are able to we are getting this exception. Okay, so we need to ignore that first one. So how we can do that? So there is a annotation called JSON ignore properties. Okay, and here what we need to do, we need to provide the some additional details. Okay, so how you can do that? So let me try to do it. So JSON ignore properties, and you need to provide the additional detail here, ignore unknown as a true. Okay, so you need to go for the first one, ignore unknown as a true. So whatever is not defined here, whatever attribute is not defined here, you have to ignore it. Okay, so this attributes we are going to ignore, underscore class attribute we are going to ignore as of now. So this time it will work. So let me try to run this application again and try to hit the API. So go to the product controller, and this is a MatchAll products API that we need to hit. So go to the Postman, and this is the MatchAll product API. Okay, let me try to rename it MatchAll products. Okay, save it and try hitting it. So you can see we are able to get the desired result. So we are able to find out all the products in the index called products. So we are able to get all the results here. Okay, so this is about the Query DSL implementation in the Spring Boot application. So this is about the video, guys, and this is how you can convert your Elasticsearch query in the form of Query DSL in Java Spring Boot APIs. So this is about the video, guys. If you like the video, please hit the like button and please subscribe the channel for more such content. Thanks. Hi everyone, Ravi this side. Welcome to Engineering Adda. So today in this video, we are going to discuss about one of the query of the Elasticsearch, and we are going to convert that query in a DSL. That means domain specific language. That means Java and Spring Boot APIs. Okay, so we are going to pick one query of the Elasticsearch, and we are going to convert that to the DSL, and we are going to finally create one Spring Boot API so that we can access that query through that API. Okay, so that we are going to do today. So coming to the query, which query we are going to implement in the DSL, and the query is match the records with the particular field name. Okay, so that we are going to do. So let's say we have the list of products, and we want to fetch out the product with the particular name. Let's say we want to fetch out the product with the name laptop. So only the laptops should be coming in the uh, records. So that we are going to implement today. So if you are not aware about the Spring Boot and Elasticsearch integration, then there is a video on my channel, and I have two videos related to the Query DSL where I am using the Spring Boot and Elasticsearch. And there I have covered about the match all and match all products query, okay, and how I have implemented those query in the backend in the Spring Boot, and I have created APIs, everything I have discussed there. And here in this video, we are going to implement the match with a particular field query. Okay, so let's get started for that. So first of all, let me try to brief you about the application that I have created. So this is the application. This is the Spring Boot application I have created, and I am using Elasticsearch as a database, you can say, or the search engine. Okay, so how we have integrated the Elasticsearch in our Spring Boot application. So if you go to the pom.xml file, here you can see we have used this dependency for the Elasticsearch, which is Spring Boot starter data Elasticsearch. And we have provided couple of configuration here related to the Elasticsearch, provided the cluster name and the nodes. So this is the URL, or this is the host where our Elasticsearch is up. So our Elasticsearch is locally up on the port number 9200. And let me try to show you. So I made this Elasticsearch up locally on the port number 9200. So our Elasticsearch is up locally. If you'll go to the HTTP localhost 9200, then you can see our Elasticsearch status. Okay, so you can see this. So our Elasticsearch is up locally, and I have the application that I have created and created all the layers of the Spring Boot application, like MVC layers. We have the entity, we have the repository, we have the service, we have the util, and we have the controller. So let me try to brief you about each of the packages here and what we have created inside it. So coming to the entity, I have created one product entity, okay, and it has five fields: ID, name, description, quantity, and the price. And the document you can say, or the index you can say, for this entity we have created in the Elasticsearch, its name is products. Okay, so this index we have in the Elasticsearch. And coming to the repository, we have created this product repo, which is extending the Elasticsearch repository. And coming to the service, I have created this product service where we have the CRUD operations. Okay, so method for the CRUD operation I have created here. You can see we have this method which is getting all the products from the Elasticsearch, and we have the insert product, we have the delete, and we have the update as well. And coming finally to the controller, I have created this product controller. Okay, so these are the APIs we have, like find all and the insert APIs. I have inserted couple of records product in the products index, which is in the Elasticsearch. So this is about the application that we have created. Now coming to the utility, I have created separately one util class where I have created couple of the Elasticsearch queries. So you can see here I have created the MatchAll query, and here I have created the supplier query. Okay. Now if you'll go to the service, I have separately created one Elasticsearch service. Okay, and here I'm calling those methods that I have created inside the Elasticsearch util and passing those queries methods inside the search method of the Elasticsearch, which we are accessing through this Elasticsearch client. So this is the flow as of now. So I have created these two methods, which is matching all services and match all product service. So this one is returning all the records present inside the Elasticsearch, and this one is returning particularly the records which are present inside the index products. So as of now, I have two indexes, index ABC and index products. So product contains all the records related to the products entity that I have created here. Okay, so mainly we are going to use this index only, which is products. Okay, so this is about the uh, Elasticsearch service methods that I have created. The first one is matching all the products. Sorry, first one is matching all the records inside the Elasticsearch. Second one is matching all the records for the particular index, which is products, and returning those things. So if you'll go to the controller, I have created separate two APIs for these two methods. So you can see matchall methods, which is calling the matchall services, and we have the matchall products method, which is calling the matchall product service, and it is returning the list of product. Okay, so this is about the application that we have developed, and all these things I have covered in the separate videos. Okay, so I will provide the link of those videos or the playlist in this video description. Okay, so from there you can access it. Now what I'm going to do, I'm just going to, let me try to go to the Postman and try to show you the query which I'm going to implement today. So here you can see we have the query match query with fields, and here we are passing this like we are using the match query, and inside that we are providing one variable, and then we are passing the query. Okay, so you can see we are matching the name of the product with the name called mobile. Okay, so you can see we are accessing the product indices. Okay, so let me try to run this query and try to show you. So if you'll go down, you can see the record is getting the one record which is having the product name as a mobile. If you'll try to search for the, let me try to remove this query as of now and try to hit this and try to show you what all the values we have. So if you'll go down, you can see we have the index products, and inside this we have the mobile, and we have the second product as a charger, and third product as a laptop, and the fourth one is a tablet. We have the different IDs for them. Okay, so these four products as of now we have in the index called products, and if you'll apply this query, you will get the corresponding product with the name called mobile. Okay, so let me try to send it, and you can see, right, we are getting only the product which name is mobile. So this is what we are going to implement today video. Okay, so let's get started for that. So let me try to go to the IntelliJ, and here let me try to create the query for it. So I will go to the Elasticsearch util, and I will try to create the query for this Elasticsearch query. Okay, so you can see this Elasticsearch query. So this query is containing the match, and then we have to provide the field name, and then we have to provide the value. So that thing we are going to do today. So let me try to go to the IntelliJ, and let me try to copy these two methods. So first one is returning the MatchAll query, and second one is returning the supplier query. Okay, if you don't know how to create it and why we have created it, I have already explained these two methods in the previous video. Okay, so let me try to paste it here, and let me try to name it like supplier with name. Okay, or something like MatchAll query, or something like match query with name field, something like that. Okay, here also let me try to append the field. Okay, if you'll come here, so this is not the match all query that we are going to create. We are going to create the match query. You can see here, right? So let me try to do it like match query, and here it would be, let's say, match query, and we are creating the match query dot builder, and then what we need to do in the match query, before building it, we need to pass the field name and the query. Okay, so what we are going to do, we are going to implement the query in such a way that for the particular name we are getting out the products. Okay, so we are going to filter out the product based upon the name. Okay, so that field we need to provide here. So it is match query dot field, sorry, dot field, and in the field, on which column name, on which column we are going to filter out the products based upon the name, right? So that field you need to provide here, and then you need to provide the query. So in the query you need to provide the value of the product. Okay, so let's say you are going to filter out the product mobile, so you need to provide the mobile here, and we are not going to hard code it. Okay, so that product name we are going to take it from the path variable, from the URL. Okay, so let me try to keep it like field here, field value or something like, yeah, field value. So let me try to pass this as an argument here, a string field value. Okay, I will explain you what we are doing. Okay, let me try to build it here. Okay, so come here and then build it. Okay, so let me try to explain you what we are doing. So this query is match query with the field name. Okay, so this is creating a match query with the field name. Okay, so you can see here in the postman we have the match query, and we are passing the field as a name, and then we are passing the value of it in the query. Okay, so that is what we are doing here. So we are creating a match query. Okay, and then we are appending the field, and the field is name. Okay, and then we are providing the query, and in the query we are providing the value. Here you can see in the query we are assigning the value. So that value we will be getting from the URL. Okay, and then we are building it and then returning it. Okay, so simply this is what we are doing. Now here we need to remove this match all, and we need to call the match query with the name. Okay, so inside the match we need to put this, and we need to provide the field value here. Okay, so let me try to pass the field value in the supplier query as well. So it is field value, and pass the field value in the match query with the name field. Okay, so we are good now. Now we are done with the query creation. So it will create a MatchAll query where we are passing the field name and we are passing the value in the query. How we are doing here in the Postman. So we are good with the query creation. Now let me try to go to the Elasticsearch service, and here we need to create one service. So let me try to copy this, and which query we are going to create here. It is match products with name. Okay. So let me try to paste it here, and match product with name. Okay, something like that. We are going to name it. So match products with name, and we need to pass the name as an argument, right? So string field value or name, you can say field value. Okay, and yeah, we are good. So here what we are doing, we are just calling the supplier query. So let me try to go to the Elasticsearch util, and this is the supplier query that we have created. Copy this and go to the Elasticsearch service, and we need to call this method. Okay, and we need to pass the field value here. Paste it. And now we are getting the supplier query, and this supplier query we need to pass in the Elasticsearch search method. Okay, so you can see we are passing this supplier.get. So from here we are just using supplier.get and extracting out those query, and we are putting it in the query, and the index we are using is products. Okay, so that we are going to do, and the return type of this would be product, so that is why we are providing the product class here. So it is returning the search response of the product. Okay, and here we are printing the query. Okay, and then we are simply returning the search response. Now let me try to go to the product controller. I try to create one API which is calling this Elasticsearch service method. So just let me try to copy this API and paste it down, and let me try to rename it. So match all products with name. Okay, and here we need to pass the field value which is the name of the particular product. Okay, so you can say field value, and here also you have to provide the field value as a path variable. Okay, so let's say it's a field value, and yeah, we are passing the same thing. Copy it from here, paste it here. Sorry. Okay, so this should be the same. Copy and paste it. Okay, so we are good. Now this would be as a path variable, so need to include the annotation called path variable, and then we are passing it. Okay, so we are good now. Now we need to call the methods that we have created inside the Elasticsearch service. So what is the method name? Come here to the Elasticsearch service, and this is the method name, match product with the name. Copy it, go to the product controller and provide it here. Okay, and we need to pass the value. So just paste it here, and we are good. And what we are doing, we are just calling this method, and the return type of this method is search response. Okay, so we are containing that return in the search response, and then we are printing out the search response in the logs. And after that, what we are doing, we are just creating a list of hit products. Okay, and we are getting those hits from the search response, and we are uh, assigning those search response hits to the list of hits, and then one by one we are iterating this list of it, and we have created this array list which is containing the list of product, and we are getting the products one by one from the hit list. Okay, and then we are adding that to the list of products, and then simply returning the list of product. This is what we are doing. Okay, now let me try to run this application and try to hit this API from the Postman and try to show you. So just copy this, match all products, and here you can see our API is up on the port number 8080. Go to the Postman, and let me try to go here
Elasticsearch query with the fields. Okay, let me try to minimize this, and here you can see I have already created this API. So you can see our application is up locally on the port number 8080, and the class level mapping is APIs. Now let me try to show you. So for controller, you can see the class level mapping is APIs. You can see here, and then what is the mapping for our API that we have created as of now, which is match all products. You can see match all products, and then we are passing the field value, which is product name. Okay, so we are good. Now let's say we want to fetch the laptop. Okay, and let me try to, our application is up, and let me try to hit this endpoint, and you can see we are getting the product with the name laptop. Okay, similarly, you can implement this query, this Elasticsearch query, if you want to get the products based upon the ID or description on the quantity or the price. So everything you can do and you can implement yourself. So this is how you can implement the field match field query from the Elasticsearch in the Java Spring Boot APIs. So this is about the video, guys. If you like the video, please hit the like button and please subscribe the channel for more such content. Thanks.
Hi everyone, Ravi this side. Welcome to Engineering Adda. So today in this video, we are going to implement the fuzzy query in the form of Spring Boot APIs. So we have the fuzzy query in Elasticsearch, and we are going to implement that fuzzy query in the form of REST APIs in Spring Boot. So in the previous video, I already have discussed how to integrate the Elasticsearch in Spring Boot application and how to perform the CRUD operations there. If you don't know how to integrate Elasticsearch as a search engine or as a database in Spring Boot APIs, then please go and watch those videos on my channel. In this video, we are going to do a query DSL on the fuzzy query. That means we are going to implement the fuzzy query which is in the Elasticsearch in the form of Spring Boot APIs. Okay, so let's get started for that. So before going there, first of all, I will try to explain you what is fuzzy search and what is fuzzy query and how we can implement it in the Spring Boot APIs. So let me try to go to the next slide, and here we come. So first term is what is fuzzy search. So generally speaking, fuzzy searching, more formally known as approximate string matching. That means it is the technique of finding the strings that are approximately equal to a given pattern rather than exactly. So let's say you want to search something. Let's say you want to search the laptop and you miss the T out of it, or in at the place of T you put P. Okay. So the term become laptop or laptop. Okay. So still it will give you the exact result of the laptop. So this is called the fuzzy search. And now let me try to go to the Google and try to show you these things. So if you'll go to the browser and let's say here you search for the laptop, okay, still it is giving you the laptop result, right? This is called as fuzzy search. Either you can skip one term or you can put or exchange the term with the other character, still it will give you the same result. Now let me try to put K at the place of T. Okay, so let's say it is laptop. Okay, still it is giving the result for the laptop, right? So this is about the fuzzy search. Now let me try to explain you what is fuzzy query in the Elasticsearch. Okay, so let me try to go to the PPT, and here it comes. So fuzzy query in Elasticsearch. So this is a query that returns the document that contains terms similar to the search term as measured by a Levenstein edit distance. Okay, so what is Levenstein edit distance? You can Google it and you can get it out. So let me try to explain you what is this edit distance is. An edit distance is the number of one character changes needed to turn one term into another term. These changes can include changing a character. Let's say you change the box to fox, still it will give you the result for the box. Removing a character, let's say you put black to black, inserting a character, transporting two adjacent characters. So those things are the one edit distance change. If you have the term which is only containing the box, and you are going for the search as a fox, it will give you the result of the box itself. Okay, so these are the things. This is the redundancy, and this is the fuzzy query in Elasticsearch. Now what we'll do, we'll try to implement this fuzzy query of Elasticsearch in the form of Java Spring Boot APIs. Okay, so we'll try to create one API that will try to search in the form of fuzziness. Okay, so let's say we have inserted couple of products in our Elasticsearch index, and we want to search the product based upon their name, and in the name we are not providing the exact product name, we are just providing the fuzzy name, or we are providing the approximate name. Still it will try to fetch out the particular product and then show you. Okay, so that we are going to do in this video. So let me try to go to the IntelliJ and try to show you. I have already created one Spring Boot application which integrate the Elasticsearch in it, and I have created two APIs, which one of them is inserting the product in the Elasticsearch index, and another is fetching out all the product from the Elasticsearch index. So let me try to go to the IntelliJ and try to show you those things. So let me try to go there, and here we come. You can see this is the application that we have developed, and coming to the pom.xml, what all the dependency that I have included, let me try to show you. So I have included the Elasticsearch, I have the Spring Web, and I have the Lombok. Okay, so these three dependency I have included. And coming to the hierarchy, let me try to show you. I have created this product entity which has the ID, name, description, quantity, and the price. And we have defined this index which is a products. Okay, the same index will be created in the Elasticsearch, and we have the product repository, we have the product service. In the service we have created these four methods. One is to find out the products, second is to insert, third is to update, and fourth is to delete. So we have created this CRUD methods. And coming to the product controller, we have created these two APIs. One is to find all and one is to insert. Okay, so these all things I have already covered in one of my videos. There you can go and watch it out, how to integrate the Elasticsearch in a Spring Boot application and how to perform the CRUD operations there. So uh, so these are the things. Okay, now let me try to make the Elasticsearch up and then try to run this application, try to connect both of them and try to hit the find all API to show you what all the product I have in my index. So let me try to go there. I have installed the Elasticsearch here, and you have to go to the bin of this Elasticsearch. So let me try to go there. I have installed this Elasticsearch version 7.17.9, and if you go inside it, if you go to the bin, you will find this Elasticsearch bat. So where it is, here you can see. You have to run this in order to make your Elasticsearch up. So just look for the Elasticsearch dot bat and then run it. So it will take few seconds to make this Elasticsearch up. Once it is up, already configured the indexes and everything in our Spring Boot application. You can see if you go to the application properties file, this is the port number on which our Elasticsearch will be up locally. It is 9200, which is the default port for the Elasticsearch. And coming to the cluster name, this is the cluster name that I have provided. Okay, so let wait for few seconds. Once the Elasticsearch is up, yeah, it is up. You can search through it. It will give you the port number where it is up. So it is mainly up on the port number 9200. Let me try to go to the browser, and let me try to search for the HTTP localhost 9200. Okay, so here we come. You can see your cluster name is this, and okay, so it is not taking the cluster name that we have provided. And these are the things, like our Elasticsearch is up. And let me try to show you something. So if you'll go to the search,
here you can see what all the indexes you have created. Okay, so I have the index, you can see ABC, and the second index is products. So if you'll come here to the IntelliJ, and if you'll come to the product controller, sorry, product entity, you can see this is the index that we have created, and we have also inserted couple of product in our index. Okay, so you can see I have the products index, and in the product index we have the product 1, which is mobile, we have the product 3, which is charger, we have the product 2, which is laptop, and we have the product 12, which is still laptop, sorry, tablet. Okay, so these are the things, these are the product that I have inserted in my Elasticsearch index. Okay, and now let me try to make this. So like if it is new for you, then I have already lot more videos on my channel which talks about the Elasticsearch and Spring Boot integration. I have made one separate video where I have discussed about the Elasticsearch integration with the Spring Boot. I have 3 or 4 videos where I have told you how to do a query DSL in the Elasticsearch with the Spring Boot. So please watch it out, and then you can continue watching from here. Okay, so this is about the uh, Spring Boot and Elasticsearch. Let me try to make our Spring Boot APIs up and try to hit this API and try to show you if it is working fine or not. So if you'll go to the product controller, I will try to hit this find all API. I have already showed you that a couple of product I have inserted in my index. So let me try to search for it. So if you'll go to the Postman, and if you'll try to hit this API, just hit enter, and you can see we have this 4 products. Okay, and if you want to insert couple more product, then you can go and hit this API. Okay, so let me try to hit this API and try to insert one more product. So if you'll go to the Postman, and if you'll try to go here, okay, and let's say this is charger, something like that, good product, something like that. Okay, let the price be 2000, and just send it. So you can see it is inserted. Now let me try to again hit this find all API to show you if it is inserted or not. So we have the mobile, we have the charger, and we have the laptop, tablet, and again we have the charger. Okay, so the price of the charger is different. The first one is 1000, and and this ID you can see, right? The second one is 2000. So which one we have inserted? We have inserted this one, which is ID is 101 and the price is 2000. So if we'll go there to the find all, you can see this is inserted, right? So both of the APIs are working fine, and it is talking with the Elasticsearch, right? So now let me try to implement the fuzzy query. Okay, so before going to implement the fuzzy query, let me try to hit the fuzzy query in this index, the product index that we have created. Okay, so we'll go there. So you can see, let me try to remove it first, and here you can see we have Elasticsearch up on the port number 9200. This is the index that we are going to hit, and we are going to search out of this index. So if we'll hit this API, you can see, okay, why it is giving the error, parsing exception and all. Let me try to again hit it. Our Elasticsearch is up. Let me try to show you something else. So let's say, okay, so it should not have a body. Let me try to do a text, or let me try to remove it, none. Okay, and now if you'll try to search and then hit it enter, then you can see here we are getting all the 4 products, or sorry, 5 products that we have inserted in our product index. Okay, you can see this, these things are coming. So this way you can search out of your index from the Elasticsearch directly. Now let me try to do a fuzzy search on this Elasticsearch index. Okay, so how we'll try to run a fuzzy search? We are going to run a fuzzy search based upon the product name. So here you can see we have the name as mobile, we have the name as charger. So based upon the name, product name, we are going to do a fuzzy search. Okay, so at the place of laptop, I will try to give laptop and then see if the laptop is coming or not. So that is what we are going to do. So if we'll go to the now you have to go to the body, you have to select a raw. Here you have to select the JSON and you have to provide this query. Okay, so from where you will find this query, you can go to the Elasticsearch and fuzzy query, and here you can see it has given you the description of what the query is looking like, and this is the query. Okay, so now let me try to go there, and this is the query, right? So we have the query, and the query is of fuzzy type, and on which we want to perform the fuzzy search. We are going to perform the fuzzy search on the name, product name. And what is the value? Let's say that we have provided the value as a laptop, and fuzziness is a criteria, so we keep it as auto. So fuzziness is a criteria. You can keep the fuzziness to one character or two characters, something like that. So as of now we keep it as a auto, so let it be. Okay, so let me try to search it now, and here we come. We have find one product, and that product is laptop. We are providing here the value as a laptop, still we are getting the laptop, right? That means the fuzzy search, fuzzy query is working fine. If you'll go for the mobile, let's say I have provided the mobile, okay, something like that. I have replaced the B with V. Okay, now let me try to search it. Still we are able to find the mobile, right? So that means fuzzy search is working fine. So this is the query, and this query we are going to implement in the Java or Spring Boot, and we'll try to form a Spring Boot REST API. Okay, so let's get started for that. Now let me try to go there to the IntelliJ. Now let me try to tell you what the whole flow we are going to implement. Okay, so first of all we'll try to create a fuzzy query. That fuzzy query will try to do a fuzzy search based upon the product name. Okay, and then we'll wrap that fuzzy query to the supplier query, and then we'll transport that supplier query to the Elasticsearch search method so that it can do a search based upon that supplier. Okay, and then once we'll get the result, we'll try to display to the client. So that we are going to do. Okay, so in order to create a fuzzy query, let me try to create a util package, and then let me try to create a class called Elasticsearch util, and then there I will try to create the fuzzy query. Okay, so let me try to do that. So if you right click on this and go to the package, let's say I create a util package here. Let me try to create a class called Elasticsearch util. Okay, or ES util you can do. Now let me try to create the fuzzy query here. Okay, so let's say public static, and the method return type would be fuzzy query. Okay, so I will create a method which will return the fuzzy query. Okay, create fuzzy query, and here we are passing the product name, which is not the exact name, it is the approximate name. Okay, so string, and that will be coming from the APIs itself. We'll try to pass it as a path variable. Okay, so let's say you can see product name or field name, or you can say approximate product name. Okay, now let me try to do the implementation. So we have, let me try to create a very well value. Okay, and let's say its name is fuzzy query. Okay, and we are going to create a fuzzy query dot builder. So we have created a local variable called fuzzy query, and we have builded this fuzzy query here. Now let me try to design our query. Okay, so return fuzzy query, dot, we'll try to pass the field name, and let's say the field name is name, and this should be coming from here, right? If we'll go to the product, you can see this is the field name, which is name, and based upon this name we are going to do the search. Now we have to provide the value, and that value we are going to provide from the API, which is approximate product name, and then we have to build it, and that's it. You have to return it. So we have created the fuzzy query based upon the name. Now let me try to create a supplier query. Okay, so public static, and this supplier query will try to pass to the Elasticsearch search. Okay, so supplier query get supplier, or you can see create supplier query, and we are passing the approximate product name. Copy this from here, pass it here, and now let me try to call this create fuzzy query inside this method. Okay, so we are going to create a supplier query. Let's say it's a supplier, and we are just going to create a query here with the help of fuzzy query. Okay, so query dot off, and this is the DSL, right? If you don't know how to implement the DSL, you can go and watch it out. Like there is a lot more video of matchall products. Okay, so those things I have already covered. Then you will get the idea of it. Okay, so this is a fuzzy query, so it should be a fuzzy type dot fuzzy, and we have to pass this fuzzy method that we have created, and let's say pass the approximate product name. Okay, so we are good now. Let me try to return it from here. So let me try to return on the next line, return supplier. So we are good now. So what we did, we have created the fuzzy query, and this is doing a fuzzy search based upon the product name, and then we have created one supplier query out of this fuzzy query, and this query will try to this method will try to call and will try to provide or pass to the Elasticsearch search method so that it can do a search out of this supplier query. Okay, so let me try to, either you can go to the product service method, and here also you can create that method. I will try to create a separate service class called Elasticsearch, and then there I will try to perform this separation. So Elasticsearch service. Okay, let me try to annotate this class with @service, and now let me try to auto where the Elasticsearch client. So Elasticsearch client have the search method. There we need to pass this supplier query. Okay, so for that we are going to auto wire this because we need the search method. Okay, so we are good now. Now let me try to create the search method here. Okay, so let's say it is public, and the return type would be search response, and it should be a product type because we are getting the product in the return. Okay, so let's say it is a fuzzy search. Okay, fuzzy search, and we are passing the uh, approximate product name. Okay, so it should be approximate product name. Okay, and we'll try to call the supplier query method from the Elasticsearch util. Okay, so let me try to create a variable or reference, you can say, of supplier type. Sorry, it should be, the query should be coming from the Elasticsearch. So you can see this is the query. Okay, so yeah, we are good. You try to make sure that this is the query that you are importing. Okay, so we are good now. Now let me try to name it like a supplier, and let me try to call the method which is returning the supplier from the Elasticsearch util. So this is the method create supplier query. So copy this and go to the Elasticsearch service, paste it here. Sorry, with the help, this is the static method, right? So with the help of the class name, you can directly call it. Okay, so we are doing that same thing and pass the approximate product name here. Okay, so we are good now. So what we did, we just call the Elasticsearch supplier query that we have created in the Elasticsearch util method, which is consuming the fuzzy query, and we store it in the supplier variable. Okay, so now let me try to call the Elasticsearch search method, and then there we'll try to pass the index as well as the supplier query. Okay, so let me try to do that. So the return type of the Elasticsearch would be Elasticsearch search method would be search response. Okay, so let me try to do that. So let's say it is a response and Elasticsearch client dot search method, and here we need to pass the index on which you want to do the search as well as the query. Okay, so let's say the index is products. This is the index that we have created. If we'll go to the product entity, you can see, right? So copy it from here, come here to the service method, paste it here. Okay, so we have created like we have passed the index. Now what we need to do, we need to pass the query. Okay, so let me try to do that. Okay, so we are good. Now let me try to do query, and in the query we need to pass the supplier query, and we need to extract it out. So supplier query dot get, and the return type would be a product class, right? So that we need to pass here. So return type of this method would be in the form of product. So product dot class, that is it. Okay, so we are good. Now we are giving this exception, so we need to either you can do a try catch or you can throw it on the signature. So I am doing that. Let me try to minimize the search for you. So in the search, what we are doing, we are passing the index and we are passing the query. Okay, and we are in the query, we are passing the supplier query, and the return type of this search method would be product. So we are doing here, we are providing the product dot class. That's it. So we are good now. Now let me try to print this query for you, and then try to show you, and then we'll return the response out of it. So let me try to do as out, and the query would be supplier dot get. Okay, so let's say Elasticsearch supplier fuzzy query, something like that. Supplier dot get and dot to string. Okay, so we'll print it when we are going to hit this API. We'll try to print the query as well, so that I can show you. Now let me try to return. Okay, so we have created this method. Now let me try to go to the product controller and try to create one API here which will consume this method. Okay, so this would be a get API. Let me try to copy it, and let me try to paste it here. Okay, so and the return type would be list of product. Okay, that will match. Okay, so let's say fuzzy search. Okay, and here let me try to provide the URL as a fuzzy search. Okay, and then we'll pass the approximate product name. Okay, and yeah, let me try to import the list from util. Now let me try to remove this method from here. Okay, so what we'll do, we'll try to call the Elasticsearch search service method, which is fuzzy search here, and then we'll try to capture the response and then we'll return it. Okay, so that we are going to do. So the return type of that method is search response, right? So if you'll go here to the Elasticsearch service, you can see the fuzzy search is returning the search response of the product. Now if we'll come here to the controller, let me try to create a reference for it. So search response of product type, let's say search response product service dot what is the method, sorry, it is let me try to auto where the Elasticsearch service reference here. Okay, so you can see if we'll go to the product controller, we have auto where the product service so that we can call the method inside the product service. Similarly, we have to do for the Elasticsearch service search service search service class so that we can call the method inside the Elasticsearch search service. Okay, so let me try to do AutoWare here. So AutoWare private Elasticsearch search service, Elasticsearch search service, and yeah, provide the reference here. So you can see uh, we have, so you can see, yeah, we have AutoWire the Elasticsearch search service here. Okay, now with the help of this reference, we are going to call the method inside it, which is a fuzzy search, and we'll pass the approximate product name. And yeah, let me try to make the approximate product name as a path variable. Okay, so a string, let me try to copy it from here, and the same thing we are passing here in this method. Okay, and this will throw an exception, so let me try to throw at the level of method here. So if it is a IO exception, throw. Okay, so we are good now. So what we did, we call this fuzzy search method from the Elasticsearch search service class, and we stored it in the reference called search response. Okay, now what we'll do, we'll try to uh, fetch out the hit out of it, and then we'll try to fetch out the list of product out of that hit, and then we'll return the list of product. Okay, so this that thing we are going to do. So let me try to do that. So let's say it is a list of hit that we are going to fetch out of the search response. Okay, so list of hit of product, let me try to import the hit. Okay, now let me try to name it like a list of hit. Okay, something like that, list of hit list. So search response dot hit. Okay, and that's it. Now let me try to print the hit for you so that you can see it, right? So you can avoid this thing, but yeah, I'm just try to, like, whenever we are going to hit the API, I will try to show you what all the things are, so you will be more clear on this. So we have the list of hits which is coming from the search response. Out of this list of it, we'll try to find out the list of product which are there in the list of it. Okay, so just let me try to do that list of product, and let's say it is a list of product, something like that. Create a new array list, and we'll store all the hit products from the hit list. Okay, so we'll do a hit list, we'll do a for loop, and out of this hit list we'll try to find out the list of heated product. Okay, so when we are going to hit this API, it will try to find out the hit out of that search, and then it will contain the list of product which are being heated. Okay, so that we are doing, and we'll restore this in the product list that we have created above, and we'll add it simply, and this would be hit dot source. Okay, so why it is giving change variable to product list type to double. Why it is giving us to go for the double. It would be the list of product, and we have the array list. We are doing a for loop on the hit list, the list of hits of product, which is hit list, and it is coming from the search response dot hits. Okay, so it is same, and we are adding it here, and it should not be the score, it should be source. Okay, I just made a wrong thing here, so we are good now. So what we did, we just fetch out the search response. We are taking out the list of heated product, and then we are fetching out the list of product out of the heated product, storing it in the array list, and then returning the same list out of it. So that is what we are doing. So return from here, which is product list. So that's it. So we are good with the API. Now let me try to run this application and try to hit this API and try to show you. Okay, so just wait for a few seconds. It will try take some time. Okay, so you can see this API is up, and we are good now. So we can go and hit our API now. Okay, so our API is like fuzzy search, and then we need to provide the approximate product name, and once it is hitted, it will try to take out the list of it, and then we'll return it. So that is what we are doing, and in the logs we are printing out the hit list as well as the query also, right? So we'll try to see here in the log as well when we are going to hit this. So go to the postman, and I already have created this. So if you'll see, this is the fuzzy search, and we are passing the approximate product name, and in this case we are not passing the laptop, we are passing the laptop, we are just missing out the t out of it. So if we'll hit it, you can see you're able to get the result, right? Similarly, if we'll do for the mobile, let's say mobile, so we are just passing out the b. Okay, we are not like we are missing the b. So if we'll hit it, you can see we are getting the mobile as well. So similarly, you can try to do a fuzzy search on other product name as well. So this fuzzy search API is working fine. If we'll go to the IntelliJ, and here you can see we are printing out the query. Okay, so this is the fuzzy query, and here you can see the fuzzy query is containing the name and the value is laptop, and then we are getting out the hit out of it. You can see, right? Similarly, if you'll see for the mobile also, we this is the query, and this is the hit out of it. You can see, and that is what we are getting in the form of result here. So this API is working fine, and this is the way how you can implement your fuzzy search in the form of Spring Boot REST APIs. Okay, so if you need some other topics to be covered, let me know. And this is about the video, guys. If you like the video, please hit the like button, and please subscribe the channel for more such content. Thanks.
Hi everyone, Ravi this side. Welcome to Engineering Adda. So in this video, we are going to implement a API that will do a auto suggest for us. So here in the example, you can see in the Google, I have searched for the term you, and I'm getting the auto suggestions like YouTube, video download, YouTube Studio, YouTube Advanced Music. So all the terms which are uh, down in the search history, it is auto suggesting me based upon the partial search that I am doing. Okay, so this is what we are going to implement in this video with the help of Spring Boot and Elasticsearch. there are a lot more videos on my channel where I have discussed about the Elasticsearch queries, and I have discussed about the Elasticsearch integration in the Spring Boot and how to write the query DSL of the Elasticsearch in the form of Spring Boot API. So everything we have covered in the previous video. You can go and watch out my channel, and in the playlist you can find those things. In this video we are going to develop a API that will do auto suggest for us, and the tech stack that we are using is Spring Boot and Elasticsearch. Okay, so let's get started for that. So let me try to go to the next slide and try to brief you about what all the steps that I'm going to follow here. So first of all, uh, I will try to do a couple of things in the Elasticsearch and Kibana. So there is a video on my channel where I have discussed about the edge engram and how to implement or how to write the query for the edge engram and how edge engram is helping us in doing auto suggest. I already have covered in that video. So make sure you watch that video first and get some idea about the edge engram. And here, because in this video we are going to apply the edge engram logic to write the auto suggest API. Okay. So anyway, I'm going to discuss the edge engram here as well. Okay. So you can see the first step is to create a edge engram filter and edge engram analyzer on the index called product. So what I will do, I will try to create a basic Spring Boot API that will try to manage the products. Okay. So that API will basically do a insert and get on the index called products. Okay, so I will try to show you what all the attributes will try to write in the entity of the product. So everything we'll discuss. So basically the index that we are going to create is products. Okay, so first of all we'll try to create a edge engram filter and edge engram analyzer on the index our index, which is products. Then we'll do a mapping of the analyzer on the top of the field on which you want to create a token or want to do auto suggest. Okay, so let's say you want to do auto suggest or you want to do auto suggest search based upon the product name. So you have to do a mapping of the analyzer on the name. Now the next step is put some document in the index created. So let's say we have created the index called products. So we'll try to insert couple of document inside the index products. Either we can do directly through the Elasticsearch Kibana, or we can create the Spring Boot API that will interact to the Elasticsearch and then try to insert couple of product in the index products. Okay, so that also we can do. Now the next step is do auto suggest search using the partial name. So let's say you have inserted the product called mobile and you want to get the result related to mobile by not passing the whole text as mobile but passing the partial text like mob, and still you are getting the relate search or the result related to the mobile. So that you can do. So these are the steps that we need to do in the Elasticsearch and Kibana. Now the next step is what we need to do in the Spring Boot. So in the Spring Boot we need to create a Spring Boot app with the Elasticsearch driver. Okay, that will try to include as a dependency, and then we'll try to create the CRUD application, and then we'll try to develop the AutoSuggest API. So let me try to go through these things and one by one so that you can or we can cover this whole video and implement the AutoSuggest API. Okay, so let me try to come out of this and let me try to minimize this. So these are the steps that we need to follow, right? So first of all, let me try to go to the, let me try to show you where our Elasticsearch and the Kibana are installed. So I have installed the Elasticsearch and Kibana on the Docker. If you don't know how to install them on Docker, I already have a video on my channel. You can go and watch it out. I have simply written a Docker compose file. Running that Docker compose, it will automatically try to pull the Kibana and Elasticsearch for you and then try to make it up. Okay, so our Elasticsearch and the Kibana are up and running, and If you'll go to the browser, you can see this. Our Elasticsearch is up on the port number 9200 and the Kibana is up on the port number 5601. Okay, so we are good. Now, what is the next step? So what we need to do? First of all, I need to create a Gram filter and Gram analyzer on the index which is products. Okay, so let me try to go to the Kibana. So when you will open the Kibana, you can see this option on the top left. You have to click here, and if you go down in the management, you will find this dev tool. Just open it, and here you can, in the first half or the left half, you can write the query, and the right half you can get the result for the query that you are going to run. Okay, so this is about the Kibana. And our Elasticsearch, make sure your Elasticsearch is up and running, then only you can interact with the Kibana dashboard. Okay, so this is about the things. Now I already have there is a video on my channel where I have discussed about the Engram. If you don't know what is an Engram, you can watch that video, or you can directly go to the Elasticsearch website, and here you will find the uh, things related to the Engram, what it is and how to implement it. So using this only, we are going to develop the auto suggest API. Okay, so make sure you watch that video or go through these things. Okay, so now let me try to go to the PPT again and try to show you. So first of all, we are going to write the Engram filter and Engram analyzer. Okay, so I already have created the query for it. If you don't know how to create it, you can visit here and you can see this query. So you can copy the same query and try to modify something and then try to create the filter and analyzer. So let me try to go to the Kibana, and here I already have created that query. So let me try to go down. You can see. So as of now, I don't have the index created. So first time when I'm going to create the Gram filter and Gram analyzer, I'm creating the index here. You can see. So you can see in the setting, I'm doing a creating a filter which is its name is Gram filter, type is Gram, and mean gram is 1 and max gram is 6. So what is mean gram and max gram? I will try to explain you later on. Now here you can see we are going to create an analyzer as well, and its name is Ngram analyzer. And in the filter we have provided the Ngram filter that we have created above. Okay, so this is about the filter and the analyzer. So let me try to run it. And here you can see acknowledge is true and the index product is created. Now what is the next step that we need to do? So next step, we need to do a mapping of the analyzer on the top of the field on which you want to create a tokens or want to do auto suggest. So let's say we want to search the product based upon the name. So I will try to create a mapping. You can see the properties is name, and the same name you have to provide in the entity that we are going to create the in the elastic in the Spring Boot. So I will try to tell you those things and try to show you what we have to create and what is here in the Elasticsearch and Kibana. Okay, so the relation I will try to tell you. So now you can see we have to create the mapping on the products index that we have created. In the properties we are providing the name, which would be the product name, and the type is text. And analyzer that we have created, it is as Ngram analyzer. You can see here. So that analyzer we are passing here. Now let me try to run this mapping. So you can see acknowledge is true. So we have created the filter, we have created the analyzer, and now we have created the properties, or you can say mapping. Now let me try to do a search and try to show you what all the documents we have. So you can see we are not having any document. So the hit is 0. That means we have not inserted any products in the index products that we have created. Now what I need to do? I will try to I will try to do something. So let me try to open the IntelliJ and try to create the Spring Boot application. And there I will try to develop two APIs. One is to insert the product in the index products, and another is to find out the product from the index products. Okay, so that we are going to do, and after that we'll try to develop the auto suggest API. So we are not directly to insert the products using the Kibana. We are going to create Spring Boot application. We'll try to Elasticsearch, and then we'll try to insert couple of document, you can say, or the products in the index products. So now you can see I have IntelliJ to the file. Let me try to go there. It is some time. So go to the file new, and I'm using the IntelliJ Ultimate version. So directly I can create the Spring Boot product project here. So let me try to do Spring Initializer. Let me try to create the product project. So let's say the project name is Spring Boot Auto Suggest. Auto Suggest using Elasticsearch. Okay, Maven, and let's say yeah, everything is good. Let me go next. Here you need to include couple of dependencies. So first of all, I'm going to use the Spring Web. And let's say the second dependency that we need is Elasticsearch. So you need to select this Spring Data Elasticsearch, and let me try to use the Lombok as well. So these three dependency I need. Just create it, open in a new tab, and let me try to just wait for a few seconds. Maven project. It will take few seconds to download all those dependency and configure the application. Let me try to close this one, and let me try to open this, maximize this, and just wait for a few seconds. So we'll try to create the entity, we'll try to create the repository, service implementation, and controller. Okay, so just yeah, I think it is good. Now let me try to go to the source, main, Java, and here let me try to create the package first. So new package, let's say it is entity, and let's say the package is repo, and service and controller. Okay, now in the entity let me try to create the product entity here. Okay, now let me try to create the attributes here. So private int id, or you can use integer, private string name. So this is the name that on which you want to do auto suggest. So if we'll go there to the Kibana, you can see we have written this mapping on the name. So that is why the same field you have to write in the entity as well. So the field here is name, same you have to write in the entity. Now let me try to spray string, and let's say let me try to do it as an integer price. I'm not going to do a double here. So integer and the quantity. So this four field we have created. Now let me try to create all argument constructor, no argument constructor, and data for getter and setter, and then we need to create the document here, and we need to provide the index name. Okay, so index name, and the index that we have created in the Kibana or Elasticsearch, you can see it is products. So same name you have to provide here as well. So we are good. Okay, so we have created the index. Now let me try to go to the repository and try to create the repo here. So it would be interface, let's say product, product repo. It should be extending the Elasticsearch repository, and we need to provide the entity and the ID of the entity. So the entity is product and the ID, like type of ID. So if you'll go to the product, you can see the ID and its type is integer. So that we need to provide here as a second argument. Okay. Now let me try to go to the service and create the product service here. So product service, and let's say it is an interface, and here let me try to create the methods. So first method would be, let's say it is, first one is inserting the product in the Elasticsearch DB, and second one is to find out the products. Okay, so let me try to do product, insert product, and here let me try to provide the product. Let me try to import the product here. Okay, so this is inserting the product, and then now we need to have a get product, and we want to get the product, like list of product, let's say. Okay, so iterable product get products. Okay, so we are good. Now let me try to create the implementation class here. So first of all, I will try to create the package impl, and there I will try to create the product service impl class. Okay, so product service impl. So first of all, let me try to go to the product service, and yeah, let me try to come here, annotate this with @service, and now I need to auto wire the product repository so that we can call the JPF provided, or you can say Elasticsearch provided methods. So private product repo, and let me try to override the method which are inside the product service. So implement product service and import this class interface. Now you need to override the methods. So why it is giving such error? Implement methods, and these two methods we have created. Now we need to override it here. So first method is inserting the product. Okay, so let me try to do an insert here. So using products repository, I will try to call the same method and then pass the product here and then return it. Now second one is to find out all the product which are there in the DB or in the Elasticsearch. So let me try to use the product repo dot find all, and then we have to return it. So we are good now. Now let me try to go to the controller and create the product controller here. So product controller, and let me try to annotate this with @rest controller. Okay, and let's say request mapping, and let me try to put as a API. Okay, now let me try to create these two API. First one is to find all, and second is to insert. So before that, let me try to auto wire the service here. So private product service, and let me try to import it, and now let me try to create the get mapping, which will be finding all the products. Okay, and iterable product get all products, and what it will do, it will try, let me try to first import the product here. Return product service dot, what is the method we have? It is get product. Okay, so we are good now. Now let me try to create the post mapping, which will be inserting the product in the Elasticsearch. And let's say its mapping is insert product, insert product, product, and return product service dot insert product. We are good. Now let me try to run this application and try to hit the APIs. So let me try to open the Postman here. Okay, so once the Postman is up, we'll try to insert couple of products and then we'll try to create the auto suggest API. Okay, so just wait for that. Okay, so let me try to create, or here you can see I already have. So yeah, let me try to insert, or here you can see I have something, yeah, API insert, and ID name, quantity, and price would be above. Let me try to arrange this, and the price is for us it is integer. Now let me try to put the quantity down. So let's say the product is mobile and the ID is 101. Okay, name is mobile, price is 20,000, and quantity is 1. Now let me try to go to the IntelliJ, and here you can see our application is up on the port number 8080, and I'm going to hit the, first of all let me try to hit the all API, and then we'll try to, or what I can do, okay, so here I'm missing the forward slash after insert, oh sorry, before insert. So let me try to put it and then try to rerun this application, and then I will try to insert the product first, and then we'll try to find all the products. Okay, so yeah, we are good. So our mapping would be API and then insert. So let me go to the Postman, and here you can see our application is locally up on the port number 8080, API, which is a class level mapping, and then for the post mapping it is insert, and in the payload we are providing the product details. Now let me try to hit enter, and we can see it is inserted, but it is null and null. So why it is? Security feature are not enabled. Without authentication, your cluster could not be accessible to anyone. To enable security, as we can see, this is the warning only, right? So this should not affect our flow. So it should be inserted, but there is a problem. You can see in the post mapping, we are not passing this product as a request body. We are directly passing it. So that is why it is not taking up. So let me try to use the request body here and try to run this again, and then try to insert the product. Okay, and then we'll try to go to the Kibana and try to search for it. Okay, so yeah, it is up and running. Now let me try to go to the postman and try to hit it, and now this time you can see it is inserted. So let me try to go to the Kibana, and here uh, Let me try to do a search in the index products. Okay, so just do a search, and here we go. We have two hits, and the first one is where we have inserted the null, and second one is where we have inserted the actual value. Okay, so let me try to insert couple of more thing here. So let's say this time the id is 102 and product is laptop. Okay, and let's say the price is 60,000, and let me try to insert it. Let me try to insert the tablet again. Tablet price is let's say 30,000, and insert it. It is also inserted. So now we have three product inserted in our index. Okay, so how we can check it? So let me try to go to the Kibana and try to do a search here again. So here you can see we have four hits, and the first one is null one, second is mobile, third is like you can say the first is mobile, second is laptop, and third is tablet. So we have inserted three products as of now. Now we want to do a search based upon the name, and we are not going to provide the full name. We are going to provide the partial name of the product, and still we should be able to get the uh, results. Okay, so let me try to insert couple of more products here. Let's say we want to insert the charges for respective products. So let's say this time we are going to like take as a product, let's say it is a tablet charger, something like that. Okay, and the price is, let's say it is 1000, and then insert it. It is inserted. Now let me try to insert the charger for laptop and the mobile as well. Okay, so let's say mobile charger price is 1000, and then quantity is 1. Similarly, let me try to insert the charger for laptop here, and let's say the price is 5000. Okay, insert it. So we have inserted six product as of now. Let me try to go to the Kibana and try to do a search here, and you can see we have mobile, we have laptop, tablet, and tablet charger, mobile charger, and laptop charger. Okay, so we have six product as of now. Now let me try to tell you which query we are going to write for the auto suggest, and later on we'll try to convert that query in a Spring Boot API. Okay, so here you can see we have this six product inserted, and now let me try to run this query. And this query is let me try to provide the index here. This query is to generate the tokens for the particular word. Okay, so here you can see in the above we have created this n-gram analyzer, and here you can see we have provided the mean gram and the max gram. What it means? It means that let's say the word is of six character. Okay, so it will generate the token starting from 1 to up to 6 characters. Okay, so let's say the word is tablet, and tablet is of 6 character, right? So when we defines the mean gram as 1 and max gram as 6, then when we'll run this query, which is the analyze query, it will try to generate the token for the particular word that we have already defined. And here we are defining the analyzer as a n-gram analyzer, which we have created above. Here you can see here you can see, right, in the here in analyzer we have created the n-gram analyzer. So this will pick up this n-gram analyzer. It will try to create the token for this particular text that we are passing, which is tablet, and this is of 6 character. And in the analyzer here in the filter also we have provided the mean gram as 1 and max gram as 6. So it will try to generate the token for this tablet, which is up to 6 characters. Okay, so let me try to show you that. So here you can see it has generated the token, which is T, TA, TAB, TABL, TABLE, and then TABLET. up to 6 character, right? If let's say it is of 7 character, but you have defined the mean gram as 1 and max gram as 6, then it will generate up to 6 character only, which would be tablet, not more than that. Now let me try to run the query, which will try to do auto suggest. Okay, so let me try to go down, and here you can see in the query we are going to run the match query. And if you don't know what is matchall and how to write the query DSL for this, I already have covered all those things there in my channel. And here you can see we are matching based upon the name, and in the query we are passing the partial text. So let's say you want to search for the tablet. Okay, so just provide tab, and then let me try to do a search here. And here we go, we are able to hit two values. The first one is tablet and second one is tablet charger. So this is giving the correct result. Now what we'll do, we'll try to do a query DSL. If you don't know what is query DSL and how to write the Spring Boot, like how to write this query in the form of Spring Boot API, then I already have covered a lot of videos on my channel. You can go and watch it out. Here we are going to do the same thing. This query is working fine. We'll try to convert this query in the Spring Boot API, and then from there I will try to pass the partial text, and then we'll try to do a search. And whatever result we are getting, we'll try to list that result. Or let's say we want to display only the name of the products. So we'll try to create a list of the products, whatever we fetched here, and then simply return it. So that means you can see we are passing the partial text, we are getting the full result. So we'll try to create a list where we'll try to put the name of the products, and then we'll try to send it to the API. And that API can be consumed by the front end to show that this list of product as a auto suggest. Okay, so this is what we are going to do now. Now let me try to go to the IntelliJ and try to create a util class here, where we'll try to write the query, and then we'll try to create, or already have created the service impl class or product service class. We'll try to create a Elasticsearch method here, and then finally we'll try to create the API. Okay, so let's get started for that. So let me try to create the package called util here. Okay, so let me try to do that. New package util. Okay, and let me try to create a class called es util. Okay, and yeah, let me try to create couple of methods here which will be creating the query for us. Okay, so first of all we'll try to create the match query, and then match query method. Okay, so one method will create which will be returning the match query for us. Okay, and then that match query will be wrapped up in the supplier query, and then that supplier query method would be called inside the uh, Elasticsearch search method. And then when we'll get the result, we'll try to navigate that result to the API. So whatever I am telling you, I'm just going to write down here so you can get it. Okay, so let's say first of all I'm just going to create a static method which will be returning the match query for us. So why we are doing a match query? So in the Elasticsearch Kibana console, I already have showed you which query we are going to implement. So this is a match query, right? So that is why we are creating a match query here, or we are creating a method which will be creating a match query for us. So create auto suggest. Let's say create auto suggest match query. Okay, and here we need to pass the product name, which will be the partial product name, right? So let me try to do uh, let's say partial product name, something like that. And let me try to uh, create a variable, a value, you can say, let's say auto suggest,
and new match query dot builder. Okay, let me try to import this. Well, why it is not importing? Okay, so it is imported. You can go here, and we are taking it this from the Lombok. So we are good now. What we did, we have created one value which is auto suggest query, and this is of match query type. Now we'll try to create our match query here. So just let me try to do this auto suggest query dot field. So on which field we want to apply the match query, and that field was name. Okay, and now let me try to do the query here, and the query we are passing the partial name. So partial product name, and then let's say if we'll go to the Kibana, here you can see we are also passing the analyzer. So let me try to do the analyzer as well. So just analyzer, and let's say the value of the analyzer is standard. If you'll come here, let me try to copy it from here, and then go there, put it here. Okay, so we are good. Now let me try to build this query dot build, and that's it. So what we did, we have created one value which is auto suggest query, which is of match query type, and then we are creating our match query exactly. So we are providing the field name on which we want to do the match query, and then in the query we are passing this parcel product name, and then analyzer is standard, and then we are building this query. So this is what we are doing here in the create auto suggest match query. Now we'll wrap this match query in the form of supplier query. So let me try to create one method here, and it is of supplier, and let's say query. Okay, now create supplier, you can say create supplier auto suggest. Okay, now here also we need to pass this like we are going to call this match query inside this query. So let me try to pass this partial product name, and let me try to create one supplier type of reference. So query supplier query, and let's say its name is supplier. Okay, now we are going to create a supplier query here. Okay, so using Java expressions we can do that. All these things I already have covered in couple of my videos, so you can watch it out. So query off, and then we need to create a match query here. So q dot match. In the match query we are passing the method that we have created, which is returning the match query. Okay, so let me try to copy this and come here. We need to pass the parcel product name, and that's it. Okay, now let me try to return the supplier out of this method. So return supplier. So we are good now. We did created the match query, and we have created the supplier query. Now let me try to create, or let's say, yeah, let me try to create one Elasticsearch service method. Okay, and let me try to annotate this method with @service, and here we'll try to create one Elasticsearch method which will be consuming the supplier query. Okay, so let me try to do that. So we have created this Elasticsearch service method, and now what we need to do, we need to create the method which will be returning the search response. Okay, so let me try to do that. So let's say public search response, and in the search response we want product. Okay, and let's say auto suggest product. Okay, and here we need to pass the partial product name, so string, and let's say partial product and name. Okay, so we have created this method. Now inside the method we'll call the supplier query or supplier method, you can say. So let me try to create a reference here which would be of supplier type, where we'll try to catch the value from the supplier method. Okay, so supplier query, it is of query type, and so here you can see we are importing the wrong query. It should be coming from the Elasticsearch. Let me try to remove this, and let me try to query. You can see this query which is coming from the Elasticsearch. So you need to import this query. Okay, let me try to cross check in the Elasticsearch util as well. So yeah, this time it is coming from the Elasticsearch itself only. So go to the Elasticsearch service. Here we are creating one reference which would be holding out the value from the uh, supplier query method. Okay, so we need to call the supplier method here, right? If you'll go to the Elasticsearch util where the supplier method is there, you can see the supplier method modifier is static. That means with the help of class name, we can directly call this method. So go to the Elasticsearch service, and with the help of this class name Elasticsearch util, I'm just directly going to call the supplier method and passing the partial product name. Okay, so we have the supplier here, and now what we need to do, we need to call the search method of the Elasticsearch, and there we need to pass this supplier. Okay, so how we can call the search method of Elasticsearch? So for that we need to have the Elasticsearch client in our this class. Okay, so how we can integrate that? So for that I'm just going to auto where the Elasticsearch client here in this class. So how we can do that? So let me try to auto where the Elasticsearch reference here. So Elasticsearch client. Okay, so you can see above Elasticsearch client is coming from the Elasticsearch. So make sure you import the correct package. Now we have the Elasticsearch client. Just copy this, and with the help of this client we are going to call the search method of the Elasticsearch. Okay, so you can see this search method, and there we'll pass the supplier. Okay, so how we'll pass it? So with the help of Java 8, we are just going to call the index first, and here in the index we need to provide the index name. So the index that we have created is product. Okay, and products, and now we need to pass the query, and let me try to do that search. Let me try to put it down so that it will be visible. Minimize this and minimize this as well. So we have the Elasticsearch search, and its return type would be of search response. Okay, so let me try to catch this in a search response variable, and it would be a product. So let's say search response equal to this, and now we are calling the search on the Elasticsearch client, and we are passing the index. And now what we need to do, we need to pass the query as well. So let me try to pass the query here. So query, and in the query we are passing this supplier uh, method, or you can say supplier reference. With the help of supplier reference, we are just going to what I would say, extract out the query. Okay, so in the query we need to pass this supplier dot get. Okay, and what we need to do, this return type is of search response of product type, so we need to provide the class name which is returning out of this search. Okay, so that is all what we need to do. So we are good now. So what we did, we call the search method of the Elasticsearch client, and then there we pass the index as well as the query.
and the return type would be product.class. Now let me try to print this whole query so that you can see when we are going to hit this API. So let me try to do a println, and let's say Elasticsearch auto suggest auto suggest or you can say auto suggestion query. Okay, and here we'll try to log the query, so supplier dot get, and then let me try to make it in a string. Okay, so we are good. Now let me try to return this search response out of here. So that is all, and we are getting some error here. Why? I need think we need to throw some exception here. So yeah, you can see add exception at the method signature. We are throwing this IO exception. So we are good now. We have created this method which is calling the supplier and extracting out the query and providing that query to the search method of the Elasticsearch and then returning the response to us. Now let me try to go to the controller. There I will try to create one controller, and there we'll try to call this auto suggest product method. Okay, so let me try to go there, and let's say this is the product controller. Here only I'm just going to create this API. So this API would be of get, and let's say it is auto suggest, and it will be returning the list of let's say string, and list of string means we are just returning the list of name of the product. Okay, so that we are doing, and let's say its name is auto suggest product search, something like that. And what we need to do, we need to pass the partial product name as a path variable. Let's say I'm just going to pass that. So partial product name. Okay, okay, so we are passing this as a path variable, and here also we need to do that. So path variable string partial product name. Okay, and let me try to write this method. So here what we are going to do, we are just going to call the auto suggest method that we have created inside the Elasticsearch service. Okay, so just copy this, and how we'll call, we'll try to create one reference of this Elasticsearch service method, sorry, service class. So how we have written for the product service. So let me try to auto add that. So private ES service and ES service. Okay, with the help of that, we are just going to call the method inside that ES service class, and its return type was search response. So let me try to create one reference for the search response here. Okay, search response of product type, and let's say search response is equal to, with the help of this ES service, we are just going to call the method. Okay, and there we need to pass the partial product name. Okay, now why we are getting some error? So I think, yeah, we need to throw the IO exception here as well. So let me try to do that. So throws IO exception. I think, yeah, we are good. Now we have the search response in our variable called search response, which we are getting from the auto suggest product method. Now what we'll do, we'll try to extract out hit out of this. Okay, list of hit out of this, and then from the list of hit, we'll try to get the products, and then from product we'll try to get out the name. Okay, so let me try to do that. So list of hit of product, and let's say hit list equal to, let me try to minimize this. Okay, equal to what we need to do, we need to call the search response dot hit, or you can say hits dot hits. So it will give you the list of hit of product. Okay, now we have the list, and now what we'll do, we'll try to iterate through the list. Okay, to get out the list of products. So let me try to create a list of a product list, and there will store the heated list of product. Okay, so let me try to call this for loop, and hit of, yeah, hit list. Now inside this we are just going to fetch one by one uh, the products that are in the hits, and we'll store or we'll add it in the product list. Okay, so let me try to do it. Is it would be source, inside the source we have the product, so we are good now. Now what we need to do, let me try to create one list of a string, and there we'll try to store the names out of this product list. Okay, so list of product name. Okay, and we have to create one another loop where we are just going to iterate through the product list, and one by one we'll try to get the name and then add it to the list of product name dot add product dot get name. Okay, so we are good now, and finally we have to return this, so return the list of product name, and we are good. Now let me try to run this application and try to hit this API, and in the parcel name, for the first time, let me try to pass either tablet or laptop. So anything we can pass, whatever product we have inserted there. So just wait for a few seconds, and till then let me try to create one find all request here in the postman. So let me try to duplicate this, and let's say it's a auto suggest API. Okay, and it would be HTTP. It would be like yeah, let me try to see what it is. So go to the IntelliJ, and here it is auto suggest, and then we need to pass the partial product name. So let's say this time I'm just passing the tab. So for class level mapping is API, and then for the method we have auto suggest, and then we need to pass the partial product name as a path variable. Okay, so we are good now. Let me try to hit it and then see. So okay, so this is failing. Let me try to see why. Product not marked as ignorable for properties price, ID, name, and the quantity and name. Okay, let me try to see what is the error. So we have the ID, name, price, and the quantity, and we have inserted a couple of record or document in the index as well. So why we are getting this, let me try to rerun it and then see. So our application has started, and it is on the port number 8080, and let me try to walk you through the API first. So we have created this API. We are passing the partial product name as a path variable, and with the help of that product name, what we are doing, we are calling this auto suggest product method. In the auto suggest product method, we are calling this create supplier auto suggest, and we are passing the partial product name, and yeah, we are going there. We have this create auto suggest match query method. In the match query, we are passing the field as name, and in the query we are passing the partial product name. Okay,
and analyzer is standard, and then we are building it. So everything is looking good. Let me try to hit this API again and then see. So let me try to go up, and here we are getting something faster XML Jackson and unrecognized field underscore class. Okay, okay, okay. So let me try to go to the Elasticsearch. Now let me try to do a search here in the index called products. Okay, so you can see we are getting this result. If you'll go to the source, you can see this underscore class, which is a field here, and we have not defined this field inside our entity. Okay, so if you'll go there, you will see in the entity we don't have this underscore class, so we need to ignore that field here. So how we can do that? So we can do with the help of this JSON ignore properties, we can do that. So let me try to do this ignore unknown true. Okay, and then let me try to rerun this. Okay, so just wait for a few seconds. Once it is up, then what we can do, we can go to the postman and try to hit it again. So go to the controller, and we have the auto suggest and partial product name we need to pass. So go to the postman now, and here we are just passing the tablet. And let me try to go to the Elasticsearch, and here you can see we have tablet, like in the products we have mobile, laptop, we have tablet, and we have the tablet charger, we have a mobile charger, we have the laptop charger. So everything is there. If you hit this search, then you can see the terms which are related to the tablet, like tablet and tablet charger, are being fetched here. So this is how, like, you can populate, or the front end can use this API to populate this list of the products that we fetched based upon the partial text or partial search as a auto suggest. Okay, so this is about the auto suggest implementation in the Spring Boot using Elasticsearch. So this is about the video, guys. If you like the video, please hit the like button and please subscribe the channel for more such content. Thanks. Hi everyone, Ravi this side. Welcome to Engineering Adda. So today in this video we are going to see what is Bool query in Elasticsearch and how we can convert that Bool query in the form of Java Spring Boot APIs. Okay, so basically we are going to convert the Bool query of Elasticsearch in a domain specific language, and the specific language here is Java, and the framework that we are using is Spring Boot. So basically what we'll do, we'll write the Bool query in the Elasticsearch, and then we'll try to convert that Bool query in the form of Java Spring Boot APIs. So that is what we are going to do today in this video. There is one video on my channel where I have discussed about the Bool query. If you are new to the Elasticsearch Bool query, then you can come here and watch this video. In this video, I am going to discuss about the Bool query, and also we'll try to implement that Bool query in the form of Spring Boot APIs. If you'll go to my channel, there is a separate playlist for the Elasticsearch where I have discussed about the things related to the Elasticsearch, and also I have discussed how to implement that Elasticsearch query in the form of Spring Boot APIs. So you can see this Elasticsearch plus Kibana playlist is containing all the videos which are related to the Elasticsearch queries running in the Kibana. And here you can see one playlist which is the Query DSL in Spring Boot. So we are converting all of those queries in the form of Spring Boot APIs here in this video. So you can see I have covered about the MatchAll query, I have covered about the MatchAll product query, I have covered about how to implement the match by field query, how to implement the fuzzy query, and how to implement the auto suggest API in the form of Spring Boot and Elasticsearch. So everything we have covered here, and the query related parts are covered in the Elasticsearch plus Kibana playlist. So you can go and watch it out there. In this video, we are going to cover the Bool query in the Elasticsearch, and then we'll try to implement that Bool query in the form of Spring Boot APIs. Okay, so let's get started for that. So if you'll go to the IntelliJ,
I already have created this application, which is the Spring Boot application, and it is interacting with the Elasticsearch as a search engine, or you can say as a database. Okay, so there is a video on my channel where I have discussed about the Elasticsearch integration in the Spring Boot. So you can go there and watch it out if you are new to the Elasticsearch and Spring Boot integration. So you can see this. Let me try to show you. If you'll go to the videos, and here if you'll go to the popular one, you can find it on the first one, which is saying how to integrate the Elasticsearch with Spring Boot and performing the basic CRUD operations there. So you can watch it out if you are new to the Spring Boot plus Elasticsearch. Okay, so that is what I have implemented here in this Spring Boot application. I will provide the link of this application from the GitHub in the video description so that you can directly go there and access it. So you can clone it and then you can start doing the development. So you can see what we have did here. We have created the Spring Boot application and performing the basic CRUD operations. And the database that we are using is Elasticsearch. So if you'll go to the pom.xml, let me try to show you what all the starter dependency I'm using for this application. So you can see we are using Spring Boot starter data Elasticsearch. So Elasticsearch is being used as a database or search engine. We are using Spring Web because this is a web application, and we are using the Lombok, and yeah, that's it. Those three starter dependency I have included: Lombok, Spring Web, and the Elasticsearch. Now let me try to show you the whole flow of the application, and then after that I will try to show you how to run the Bool query and how to convert that Bool query in the form of Spring Boot APIs. Okay, so if you'll go to the controller, here you can see I have developed this product controller. So this application is managing the product related things, or you can say this application is performing the basic CRUD operation on the product management, like creating the product or reading the product's details or deleting the product or updating the product. So before explaining all these APIs, let me try to go to the entity and show you how the product is looking like. So if you'll go to the entity, you can see this product, and the product is the class, and this is a working as a entity. Okay, it has ID, name, quantity, and the price as attributes. So we have the product ID, we have the product name, quantity, and the price. Now if you'll go to the repository, you will find this product repo interface, which is extending the Elasticsearch repository. And in the Elasticsearch repository, we are passing these two arguments. One is the product, and then the second is the ID type of the product. So if you'll go to the product, the ID is of integer type that we are passing here in the product repository as a second argument. Now coming to the services, you can see we have two services. One is product service, another is Elasticsearch service. But I will go to the product service, and here you can see we have created this four methods, and which first one is to get all the products from the DB from the Elasticsearch. Second is to insert the product into the Elasticsearch. Third is to update the product, and fourth is to delete the product. So we are using Elasticsearch as a database, right? So in the Elasticsearch, we have created one index called products, you can see, and that index we have configured here in the entity as a document. So the index is working as a table, okay, in the Elasticsearch. So we have created one index called products, and inside that index we are going to insert the products, we are going to fetch the product from that index, or we are going to update it or delete the product from the index. So everything we are going to do. So you can like take the index as a table in the SQL. Okay, so now I was in the service, so let me try to go to the product service. So here you can see all those four methods are written here. Which one is first one is to get the products, second is to insert the product, third is to update the product, and fourth is to delete the product. Now if you'll go to the controller, you can see we are auto wiring the product service And with the help of this product service, we are calling the implemented method from the product service in this controller. So the find all API is retrieving all the products from the DB. If you'll go to this product service method, which is get products, you can see this is using the find all method of the repository to find all the products from the index of the Elasticsearch. Okay. Similarly, if you'll go to the controller and if you'll go to the second API, which is insert, it is inserting the product into the index Elasticsearch. So if you'll go to the insert product method, you can see we are passing the product as an argument, and then we are using the same method of the product repository to save or to insert that product into the index. Now similarly, we have the update and uh, we have the delete. Okay, so we have not implemented the update and delete APIs here, but those methods we have created here in the product service. So similarly, you can create it. I will provide the GitHub repository link of this application in the video description. From there, you can go and clone it. So this is the whole flow is. If you'll go to the product controller, if you'll go to the find all, you can trace the whole flow. So find all API is calling the get products method of the product service. If you'll go to the product service, you can see it is calling the find all method of the product repository, and the repository is Elasticsearch, right? So that is the flow. Now let me try to explain you about this Elasticsearch service and the Elasticsearch util, how we have implemented this, what this classes contains. Okay, so if you go to the product controller, here you can see I have written these two more APIs. One is to match all the indexes from the Elasticsearch, and second is to match all the products. Okay, so these two APIs I have implemented, and these two classes that we have created is containing the method for those two APIs. So let me try to show you one of the APIs. So let's say we are going to see this API, which is match all products. So what this API is doing, it is returning the list of product. Okay, and what its implementation is, you can see we are using Elasticsearch service to call the match all product service method. So if we'll go up, you can see we have auto-add the Elasticsearch service reference here. And if you'll go to the Elasticsearch service, this is a class which is annotated with at the service annotation, so that its bean can be created and assigned to the application context. Now this method, this class contains two methods. One is to match all the indexes from the Elasticsearch. Second is to match all the products from the product index. Okay. Now let me try to go to the product controller again and try to show you the whole flow for this match all product API. So what this API is doing, it is matching all the products from the index products. Okay. So if you'll go to this match all product service method, you can see here it is creating one supplier query. You can see this, and then we are passing this supplier query to the Elasticsearch search method. Okay, and then the index that we are targeting is products, and the same index that we have created here in the product entity, you can see this. So our index in the Elasticsearch is products. So let me try to go there. You can see this, and if you'll go to this Elasticsearch supplier query method, let me try to go there. You can see in the Elasticsearch util class we have created these two methods. One is creating the supplier query, and in the supplier query we are calling the match all query method. So if you go to the match all query method, sorry, let me try to come out of it. If you go to this match all query method, you can see here this is the MatchAll query method that we have created. So let me try to explain you the whole thing, what these methods are doing. Then you will get the whole flow. And then finally I will try to hit the MatchAll products API. So coming to these two methods, the first one is MatchAll query. So what this method is doing? This MatchAll query method is creating a MatchAll query for us. and then simply building it and returning it. Now if we'll come to the supplier query method, what we are doing, we are creating a supplier query and we are passing this MatchAll query inside the supplier query. Okay, once the supplier query is created, we are calling this supplier query in the Elasticsearch service method. Let me try to go there. You can see in the MatchAll product service method, we are calling this supplier query, which is internally containing the MatchAll query. Now we have the supplier query. We are passing this supplier query to the Elasticsearch search method. And inside the search method, what we are passing other than the supplier query is the index name that we have created inside the Elasticsearch. So the index name is products and the query that we are passing is supplier query. And the return type would be product.class. Okay. Now we have the response from the Elasticsearch search method. We are containing that response in the search response variable that we have created, and its return type is search response of the product type. In the next line, we are printing out the query that we are creating, and then we are simply returning the response. Now if we'll go to this method, which is MatchAll product service method, which we are calling inside the product controller MatchAll API. You can see MatchAll product API. So this is returning the hit from the Elasticsearch search method, or you can say this is returning the Elasticsearch search response. We are containing that search response here and we are finding out the hit out of it. And you can see we are logging it as of now, but in the next line you can see we are finding the hit out of this search response, and the hit would be list of hit of products. Now from the list of hit of products, what we are doing, we are iterating through it and we are finding the list of product and then simply returning it. So to contain the list of product, we have created this list, and in that list we are adding the hits of the product and then we are simply returning it. So this is what the whole flow is. Now let me try to run this application and try to hit this API. So before running this application, we should be making our Elasticsearch up and running. Okay, so I have installed my Elasticsearch on Docker. So if you don't know how to install the Elasticsearch on Docker, there is a video on my channel, you can go and watch it out. Okay, so there is a video how to install on the Windows machine, and there is a another video how to install the Elasticsearch using Docker. So there also you can go and watch it out. Let me try to show you. I will provide the this link of that video in the description of this video, so you can directly go and look for it. So you can see this how to install the Elasticsearch and Kibana on the Docker using Docker Compose file. So you can watch this video. I will provide the link of this video in the description, and then you are good with the Elasticsearch installation and Kibana installation. So let me try to make our Docker Compose file up and running so that we can access the Elasticsearch as well as Kibana. And I will show you that I already have created the products index in the Elasticsearch. So everything I will try to show you there. So before going to run this application and hit this API, make sure that you have your Elasticsearch up and running. Now let me try to open my Docker and let me try to make our Elasticsearch and Kibana up and running in the Docker. So once the Docker is up, you can make your Elasticsearch and Kibana up and running. Now my Docker is up. Now you can see in the Docker in the container, I have this desktop container. So this is nothing but it is a folder where I have kept my Elasticsearch and Kibana Docker Compose file. So let me try to show you how the file is looking like, and then I will try to make it up. So if we'll go to my desktop, let me try to open the desktop. And here you can see this Docker Compose file. Let me try to open it. You can see in this Docker Compose
file, we have mentioned the services, two services. One is Elasticsearch and the port number and the environment and the limit. So one service is Elasticsearch, second service is Kibana. And we have mentioned the images of that Elasticsearch and the Kibana so that Docker can pull it when we make this Docker compose file running. So that is what we did, and that is what my container is. This container is containing both of the services, or you can say this container is running the Docker compose file. So make sure your Docker, make sure your Elasticsearch is up and running. If you don't know how to install it on the Docker, then you can go and watch that video. So my Elasticsearch is up and running on the Docker, and this is, if you go to the running process, as you can see, Elasticsearch is up and running on the port number 9200 and Kibana is running on the port number 5601. So let me try to access both of the things, and then I will try to show you how I have created the index and then how it is being connected to the Spring Boot, and then we'll try to hit the Spring Boot API. So let me try to go to the Elasticsearch first. So Elasticsearch is up on the port number 9200. So HTTP localhost 9200. You can see this. Our Elasticsearch is up and running. Now let me try to open the Kibana also. So Kibana is up and running on the port number 5601. So HTTP localhost 5601 5601. Now you can see the Kibana is loading. Here you can see the Kibana is up and running. Now if you'll come here to this tab, if you'll click on it, if you'll go to the bottom, you find this dev tool. Open this dev tool and here you can run your Elasticsearch query. So this is the Kibana dashboard that provide you the console to run the Elasticsearch query. So our Elasticsearch and our Kibana both are up and running. Now I can show you that whatever query I want to run on the Elasticsearch, and then how those things are written. So if you'll go down, I already have created the product index. If you don't know how to create the index in the Elasticsearch using Kibana, then I will again suggest you to go to my playlist of the Elasticsearch plus Kibana, and there you can watch those all things from installation to writing the basic CRUD operation to writing others queries in the Elasticsearch and Kibana. I already have explained all those things there. So I'm not going to explain you those things here. So you can see I have created this product index in the Elasticsearch. So let me try to run this and then show you what it contains. So if you'll go down, you can see this product index is containing the details related to the product. So you can see the product is this first index is having the product 101 and the name of the product is mobile, price is 20,000, quantity is 1. So this is containing the product related information. Now if you'll go to the second index, you can see this is this is containing the product 102, name is laptop, price is 60,000, quantity is 1. Similarly, I have couple of the product inserted. You can see tablet. If you'll go down, you can see tablet charger. If you'll go down, you can see mobile charger, and you can see laptop charger, study table. So all of these seven, I would say, products are inserted in the products index. Okay, so this is how the product index is looking like. We have the product index ready, and we have couple of product inserted inside the index. Okay, now let me try to show you how we have written the bool query. So what is the bool query? So bool query is nothing but it is a query which is a combination of two or more other queries. Okay, so you can see we have written this query, and inside that query we have the bool query which is containing the filter query and the must query. Okay, so bool query is nothing but it is a combination of two or more queries. So we have written this filter query and the must query. Now let me try to explain you how the this bool query is working. So this bool query is containing the filter query and the must query, right? Now the filter query is filtering out the product based upon the name, and the must query is matching for the quantity of the product to be 1. Okay, so let's say the product name is tablet and its quantity is 1, then
that product will be fetched out here. Okay, so let me try to run this application. Sorry, run this query. So before running this query, let me try to show you the details related to the tablet. So if I'll run this search on the products index, you can see we have the 7 product inserted. And if we'll go for the tablet, let me try to show you what all the product related to the tablet we have. So we have the tablet charger and the quantity is 1. And if we'll come up, you can see that we have the tablet and the quantity is 1. Okay, so here you can see in the bool query we are writing two queries. One is the filter, which is filtering out the products based upon the name. So we have passed the tablet here. It will filter out the product related to the tablet. And now the second query is the must query, which is looking for the product that we have filtered out, and its quantity should be 1, not more than 1, right? So let me try to run this query and then see the result. You can see in the result we are getting these 2 hits. And if we'll go down, you can see we have the tablet and we have the tablet charger. So both of the products are fetched based upon the name, and then the quantity is 1, then that is why we are fetching both of them. So this both of the queries are combined together giving this result. First query is to filter out the product based upon the name. Second is to match the quantity. And if both are working together, then this is the result. We have fetched out the tablet and the tablet charger, and both quantity is 1. Now let me try to change the quantity to 2 and then see the result. So if you run this, you can see we are not getting any hits because both of the products were having quantity as 1 only, and that is why we were able to hit this. Now the filter query is working fine, but we are not satisfying the must query. That is why we are not getting any result. Combining both of the queries, we are not getting any result. The tablet is there in the index, but it is not matching the match must query, and that is why we are not getting any result. Okay, so in order to run the bool query, both of the sub queries would be working together, and then only we are able to find the results. So if we'll put the quantity as 1 and if we'll run it, you can see we are getting 2 hits. So this is how the bool query is working. And if you want to get the clear understanding, there is a separate video on my channel about the bool query. You can go and watch it out. Okay, now we have covered the bool query, how the bool query is working and how we can write it. So let me try to go to the Kibana again, and this is the bool query. Now this bool query we are going to convert in the form of domain specific language, that is query DSL, right? So we are going to convert this bool query in the form of Java Spring Boot APIs. Okay, so let's get it started for that. So let me try to go to the IntelliJ, and our Elasticsearch is up and running. Our index is working fine, and in this application we have configured the index and we have configured the APIs also, right? And we have the MatchAll product API. So let me try to hit this MatchAll product API first to see the list of product from the Elasticsearch product index. If this is working fine, that means the integration of this application, Spring Boot application, and the Elasticsearch is working good. Once that is tested, then we can start developing the bool query API. So yeah, I started this application. Just wait for a few seconds. Before that, let me try to open the Postman for you so that I can hit the API. So just wait for a few seconds. Yeah, it is up and running. Postman is also opening up. If we'll go to your application, let me try to maximize it. You can see your application is up and running on the port number 8080. Okay, now the Postman is also up, and our application is up on the port number 8080. The class level mapping is APIs, and if you want to hit this match all products API, then you have to follow this match all products after the APIs. Okay, so let me try to go to the Postman and
create the URL for it. So you can see our application is up on the port number 8080, and it is up locally on the 8080. So the APIs would be HTTP localhost 8080. The class level mapping is APIs, which is APIs you can see here, and after that the method level mapping is MatchAll products. So let me try to copy this and go to the Postman APIs, put this MatchAll products and then hit it. Now in the result you can see we are able to get the products whatever there in the Elasticsearch index. Okay, so you can see we have the mobile, laptop, tablet charger, mobile charger, laptop charger, and the study table. You can cross verify it if you'll go to this Kibana dashboard, and if you'll run this get search query of the Elasticsearch on your product index, then you will find the same details here. You can see we have the first is the mobile. First one is nothing. We don't have any details related to the product for the first record. Second record is the mobile. Third one is the like laptop, and then we have the tablet. Then we have the tablet charger. We have the mobile charger. We have the laptop charger, and we have the study table. The same thing we are getting in the APIs also, right? You can see this. And if you go to the IntelliJ in the console, you can see this is the query that we are running, which is the MatchAll query. Okay, so we have integrated our Elasticsearch, and we are hitting the product index, and we are hitting this MatchAll query. Okay, so everything is working fine. Now, what I will do, I will try to convert this Bool query that we have written here in the form of Spring Boot APIs. Okay, so let me try to go there. So first of all, we can start a bottom up approach, or we can also start a top down approach. Okay, so let me try to go to the up approach and then try to show you. So what we need to do, we need to create two queries. One is to filter the query. You can see the one query is filter, second query is the must query, and then we are combining both of them in the bool query. So we have to create three methods. The first one is the first method is for the filter query, second method is for the must query, and the third method is combining the filter and the must query. And then this query would be transferred to the supplier query, and then we can pass this supplier query to the search method, and then finally we can call that method in the controller. How the flow for the match all was. Okay, so similarly we are going to develop the bool query also. So let me try to follow the bottom up approach and then try to show you those things. So go to the Elasticsearch util class, and here let me try to create those methods. So here you can see for the match all what we did. We have created one match all query, and we have created one supplier query, or you can say we have created one method which is returning the match all query, and then that match all query method we are calling inside the supplier query, and this method is returning the supplier query. Okay, so similarly for this bool query, what we are going to do, we are going to create one bool query method, and inside that bool query method we are going to pass the filter query and the most query. Okay, so let me try to go to the IntelliJ. So let me try to first develop the bool query. Okay, so let's say public static bool query. Make sure this bool query is coming from the Elasticsearch. So bool query. Okay, now let's say the method name is bool query also. Okay, and in the bool query, okay, wait for a few seconds. So let's say we have created this method bool query. Now let me try to create a variable called bool query equal to new bool query builder. Okay, so we have created one bool query variable which is of bool query type. Okay, now this bool query variable,
we are going to call the filter and the must in this bool query variable. So let me try to do that and return that bool query. So bool query dot filter. Why we are calling filter? If you'll go to this Kibana dashboard and if you look for this bool query, you can see this inside the bool query we have the filter query and we have the most query. So that is why on this variable which is of bool query type, I'm just going to call the filter and I'm just going to call the most, and combining both of them, what becomes the bool query. So let me try to do that. So bool query dot filter. Okay, so you can see the filter and we are going to select this first one which is filter, and this is looking for the list of queries, right? So again let me try to go to the Kibana, and if you look for this filter query, this is of type of list of queries. So filter is, after the filter we have the open bracket and we have the close bracket which denote the list, which denote the array. So this filter query is a list of queries. Similarly, this most query is the list of query. So when we are writing down this filter on top of bool query, we need to pass the list of queries here. Okay, and let me try to go to the again to the Kibana. You can see this filter contain the list of queries. As of as of now, we have only one query, which is a term query, but we can have more than one term queries, which makes the filter as a list of term queries or list of queries, you can say. So if you copy this whole thing, you can say this is one term, and if you want to put other terms in the filter, you can put it how we have put it here. You can change the field name and the values. So this filter is a list of queries. Similarly, the most is a list of queries. So let me try to remove this as of now. As of now, we have only one query in the filter and one query in the most. So when we are calling the filter on the bool query or when we are calling the most on the bool query, we need to pass the list of queries as an argument. Okay, so let me try to do that. So this filter, we have to pass the list of queries here, and when we are going to call the most, again we have to pass the list of queries there, and then we have to build it. Okay, and then we have to simply return it. So this method is creating a bool query. On the bool query we are uh, combining the filter and the most, and then we are building it and returning it. This filter and most should contain the list of queries. Now again if you'll go to the bool query, you can see this filter is containing the list of terms queries and the most is containing the list of match query. So we have to create a list of match query or list of term queries. Okay, so let me try to do that. So here let me try to create a list of term query first. So public static list of query, and let me try to make it as a term query. Okay, and in the term query we have one field which was name, and we are passing the values of that name which is tablet, but I want that value to be dynamically passed as a path variable. So that is why in the term query here as an argument I'm just going to pass that value. Okay, let me try to again show you. So you can see in the term query we have the field as name and the value is tablet. Now what I want to pass this tablet value from the API as a path variable. So that is why I'm just passing this as a argument here in the method or in the term query. Similarly for the match query also, I just pass this value which is quantity as a path variable. Okay, so let me try to do that. So in the term query we are passing this product name as a path variable. So we are passing this here as a argument, and later on we'll pass it to the path variable in the API. Okay, so product name, and how we have created the bool query. Similarly, we need to create the term query here. Okay, so let me try to do that. But that would be the list of, like, we are returning the list of query here, so we have to create a list of query here first. Final list of term query, array list is the implementation of it. Now let me try to create one term query here, and new term query builder. Okay, and then we have to do a terms dot add term query, and let me try to create a query here. So what we are doing, if we'll go up for the match one, you can see in the supplier query we are using query of to create a query of matched all. Okay, similarly we are going to create a query of term here. So what we did, we have created one list of queries which is terms, and its implementation is array list. Now we have created one term query, and then we are going to add that term query in the list of queries and then return it. That is what we are doing here. So when we are going to add that term query in the terms, which is a list of query, we are going to use the query of method. So query dot off, and then we are passing here q dot term, and in the term we have to pass the term query, and then we have to pass the field name, and we have to pass the value. Okay, and then we have to build it. So term query dot field. So the field that we are going to hit is name. So I'm just going to hard code it as of now, and you can also pass it from either from the APIs, or either you can hard code it, or you can get it from the application properties file. So as of now we are just going to hard code it. Okay, now we have to pass the value, and the value we are passing dynamically from the path variables, and that is coming here in the method as an argument. So the product name we are passing here, and then we are building it, and that's it. Okay, and then simply return the list of queries from this method, which is terms. Okay, so this is how we can create. Let me try to put the semicolon here. Okay, so this is how we can create the list of term queries. Now we have to create the list of match query for the most. Okay, so let me try to create that as well. So copy this and paste it here. Let's say it is list of match query. We are passing the quantity here, right? In the case of match query, you can go there to the Kibana and you can verify it. In the most, we have the list of match query, and the field is quantity, and the value is 1, which is of integer type. So that is what we are doing here. We are creating the list of match query, and we are passing the quantity here as an argument, and later on it will be consumed as a path variable. Okay, now we have the list of match. Okay, copy this, paste here. Now we have to create the match query again here. So let's say match query equal to new match query dot builder, and then we have the match query. In the matches we are going to add that match query, and how we are creating the match query, we are doing using the query of, then we have the match here. We are going to pass the match query, and we are setting the field name. The field name is qty, and the values in the case of match query, there is a no field called value. We have the query, and in the query we have to pass that quantity here. So qty, and then we have to build it, and then we have to return it. So the query list of query was matches. Okay, simple. So we have created the match query also, we have created the term query, and both are looking good. Now we need to pass those things here in the filter. So when we are passing this to the filter, we need to pass the product name and the quantity also. So let me try to pass this product name and the quantity in the bool query as an argument. So string product name comma integer quantity, and let me try to call this term query and the match query. So in the filter we are passing the term query and we have to pass the product name. In the most we are passing the match query and we are passing the quantity there. That's it. So we have created the bool query. Now how we have created the match query, and the match query is being called in the supplier query. Similarly, I'm going to create a supplier query to call the bool query. Okay, so there is a four methods that we need to create. One is for the supplier query, which is consuming the bool query. In the bool query we have the filter and the must, and in the filter and must we are passing the term query and the match query. Okay, so let me try to create the supplier query here. So you can directly come up and copy this. This is also simple. Let's say supplier query for bool, something like that, bool query. And here again we have to pass the product name and the quantity. So just copy this, paste it here as argument, and now we have the supplier query. Okay, and in the supplier query we are going to create a query, and then in the query we have to pass the bool query, right? Let me try to remove this match. So query of, let me try to again do it, query of let's say q dot bool, and in the bool query we need to pass the bool query that we have created here below. Copy this, paste it here, and then we have to pass this arguments. So product name and the quantity. Okay, so that's it. So we have created the supplier query out of bool query also. Okay, now we are good. Now what we need to do, we have created all the queries here in the Elasticsearch util. Now if we'll go to the Elasticsearch search service class, here we are going to create one method which is calling the supplier query and then passing that supplier query to the search. Okay, search method of the Elasticsearch. Okay, so same thing we are going to do here as well. So let me try to do that. So either what I can do, I just copy the this method which is MatchAll product service method, or you can create on your own also. So let me try to copy it and paste it here. So the return type of that method would be search response or product type. So let's say this is a bool query impl, something like that. We need to pass the, sorry, we need to pass the product name and the quantity. Okay, so we need to pass it. So let me try to pass it. So we have created this bool query implementation method. Its return type is search response. We are passing the product name and the quantity. Now we have created the supplier query here. Okay, sorry, we are let me try to call that supplier query that we have created for the bool query. So if we'll go to the Elasticsearch util, let me try to go there, and you can see this. This is the method for the supplier query of the bool type. So if we'll go to the service, let me try to call that, and we need to pass the product name and the quantity here. So just pass that product name and quantity. So here we are calling the Elasticsearch supplier query for the bool query method, and we are passing the product name and the quantity. Its return type would be supplier query, right? Now we have the supplier query. This supplier query we need to pass to the search method of the Elasticsearch, And if you come here, you can see this Elasticsearch client. So this Elasticsearch client we have auto-wired here in the Elasticsearch service class. Okay, so you need to auto-wire it so that you can call the search method of the Elasticsearch. Inside this search method, we are passing the index, and the index is products, and then we are passing the query, and in the query we are passing the supplier query. Okay, so you can see this supplier. The same thing we are passing here and applying the get method, and its return type would be product. Okay, so that is all, and its return type would be search response. We are printing the query, and then we are returning the search response out of this method. Now this method is ready. Now let me try to copy this, and now what we need to do, we need to go to the controller and call this method. Okay, so let me try to go there to the product controller, and similarly how we have implemented for the MatchAll products, similarly you can do it for the Bool query also. So let me try to copy this and paste it here. I will explain you everything. So let's say the API is Bool query, and we need to pass the product name and the quantity as a path variable. Okay, so let me try to pass that. So let's say product name, and then let me try to pass the quantity also. Okay, now let me try to rename this method. So let's say it is Bool query. Okay, something like that. Here we need to pass the product name and the quantity as a path variable. So string path variable is string product name, and path variable integer quantity. Okay, now we are good. Now what we need to do, we need to call the method which is bool query impl method from the Elasticsearch service class. So copy this, come here to the product controller and call that. Okay, and here we need to pass the product name and the quantity. So just pass the product name and quantity. So we are calling that, whatever response we are getting, we are storing it in this variable which is search response of search response type. Now what we are doing, we are just simply printing out the hits. If we'll go down, you can see list of hits. We are filtering out the list of hits from the search response, and then the list of hit is of type list of hit of product. Now what we need to do, we need to fetch out the product out of the hitted product, list of hitted product. Okay, so for that we have created one list of product array list, and inside that list of product array list we are adding the heated product. Okay, so you can see this, we are iterating the things. So this list of hits is containing the list of heated product. We are filtering out the list of heated product one by one and adding it to the list of products, and then simply returning it. Okay, so this is what we are doing. So everything is looking good as of now. Now let me try to run this application and try to hit the API and try to show you how it is working. Okay, so let me try to do that. So run this application and try to hit this bool query. Once it is working fine, I will again summarize the whole flow for you. Okay, so you can see our application is up on the port number 8080, and the class level mapping is APIs, and then the method that we have developed, or the API method that we have developed for the bool query is bool query, and then we need to pass the product name and the quantity. So go to the product postman, and here it is bool query, I think, yeah, and then we need to pass the product name. So let's say the product name is tablet, and then the quantity is 1, and hit it, and you can see we are getting the response. That means our API is working fine. If you provide the quantity as 2, you can see nothing is there. So when we were running this Bool query in the Elasticsearch Kibana dashboard, you can see we are getting the same result here. Let me try to run it and then show you. So you can see we have provided the name as tablet and the quantity is 1. So if you run it, you can see we are fetching these two results. One is 103, one is 104. One is the tablet and the quantity is 1. Second is the tablet charger and the quantity is 1. So both of the queries are matching and then giving the result. Similarly, here in the Postman also, we are getting the same results. We are providing the product name as a tablet and the quantity as 1, then we are getting these two results, which is the same as what we are getting here. So that means we have successfully implemented this Bool query in the form of Java or Spring Boot APIs. Okay, so this is what the query DSL is, and let me try to show you the logs here. So you can see we have logged the Elasticsearch query here. So you can see in the Elasticsearch query, this is Bool, and then inside the Bool we have the filter. Inside the filter we have the term, and inside the term we have the name and the value as a tablet. Similarly, we have the most, and in the most we have the match. We have the quantity as a 1, and that's it. And the same query you can copy and come here to the Kibana, and then you can match it. So let me try to show you those things as well. You can see we have the, first of all, we have the inside the query we are passing this Bool query. So we have logged the Bool query, right? So let me try to match it from the Bool query. So you can see this Bool query. Inside the Bool query we have the filter. Inside the filter we have the term. Inside the term we have the name as a column and its value. Similarly, we have the must query. Inside the must query we have the match, and we have the quantity and the its value. So here in the log query you can also see the same thing. We have the Bool query. In the Bool query we have the filter. In the filter we have the term query. We have the field name, and we are directly not passing the value as a tablet, but we have one another column which is value, and then we are passing the value of that field which is name here. Similarly for the must query. So both of the queries are looking same. So this is how you can implement the Bool query in the form of query DSL or in the form of Spring Boot APIs. Okay. So this is about the video, guys. If you like the video, please hit the like button, and let me try to summarize the whole flow for you so that you can get the gist of it. So you can see we have created this API. We are passing the product name and we are passing the quantity, and we have created this Bool query implementation method where we are passing the product name and the quantity. If you go to this Bool query implementation method, we are calling this Elasticsearch supplier query for the Bool query method where we are passing the product name and the quantity. If you go to this supplier query method, you can see this supplier query method is creating a Bool query. If you go to this Bool query is creating the filter query and the must query. And inside the filter query and the must query, we have the term query and the match query. If we'll go to the term query, this is returning the list of query. In the term query, as of now, only we have the one term, so that is why we have created the term query and added this term query in the list of queries. And you can see similarly here we have created the match query, which is a list of query. Inside the match query, we have created one match query and added it. Okay, and yeah, that's it. That's all the flow is, and this is how we can create, or we can develop, or we can convert our Elasticsearch queries in the form of Java Spring Boot APIs. Okay, so if you like the video, please hit the like button, and please comment down what you need uh, in the next videos. And if you like really like the video, please subscribe the my channel for more such content. Thanks.